You know, it's kind of fitting that we like picked this to be the episode after yesterday's complete and utter shit show with Twitter. Like,
Yeah, true.
here we go, folks. You know, we're gonna not be able to tweet, can't send messages, and now all the leaks coming out that they're gonna have caps on everything. If you're not paying for the blue check, you know, pay up.
I think
Leaky.
that's just a rumor, though. I think like that's just a gossip website, because like that would literally destroy everything. Like that would just 20 tweets a day. That's like Siberian gulag numbers of tweets.
That's what kills me, right? It's just like it would be like if you put a cap on tweets, it would be like Tumblr taking away pornography. It would just kill the website almost instantly. Like, what are you doing, Twitter? Like, I don't know who's running it over there, but
there was you know what's funny? I used to get a lot of like model drawing like resources from Tumblr. I'll just keep it at that.
That's like Dutton saying he had to do research for anime.
Did he?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy. I never was a big watcher of Dutton. I mean, he's got like his takes on religion I don't exactly agree with, but I do think that his book on the Spiteful Mutants is largely correct. I mean, I'm not in a position to question his research, but I do think that the theory is very sound. But like other stuff I see, like Dutton is quite an entertaining guy for like someone's got like that level of IQ and that level of tism, you know. So he knows what his audience, like he knows how to gin up an audience, you know what I mean? Like that's what you need. You can't have like a lot of dry spurgery. Anyways, speaking of spermery,
spermery or spurgery.
The discourse has been crazy lately about the roasties with stepkids and how if you're a good trad ortho cath that you should, you know, I guess we'll get. That's what everyone's again. Nobody listen. Everyone is just.
If it weren't for Twitter, I wouldn't know about any of this stuff. So you know, maybe this is Chinese if you're not on Twitter. You know,
no, but I mean, like, it seems that the past 2 years, the E-Right has just been like a dating advice column and like penthouse forums, basically. Like that's all Twitter is in the E right now. It's penthouse forums. It's like this E-girl showed up at my door and I ordered it. What was that one penthouse? It's like I ordered a pizza and 20 minutes later, this beautiful woman came to my door and, you know, had sex with me. It's like, what? Then people were like in the comments, they're like, "What do you mean 20 minutes? That's to get a pizza in 20 minutes? Come on." It's like an e-girl showed up at my door. Don't be the stepdad, be the dad. Yeah, I love that, man. The dad that steps up. That's hilarious. You know what's funny though? I will say though, like there are cases where it's appropriate. Fishy frenzy of Marnoware. Oh boy. Like, okay, for example, I know a family friend of mine who raised a daughter because his GF at the time was pregnant with her, and the father was like this crackhead that like totally left. I think he's like dead now. That's like, I think like cases like that are obviously different, and they've been together forever, and so like cases like that, you know what I mean? Like I can understand, but if you're like the more I say it, like, you know what I mean? Especially that we're camming today. It's like, the more I say something, the more I'm like, you know, but I do think that like, if you're going with a woman that like chooses to be a single mother or like doesn't care particularly about like this is why marriage was such a, you know, sacred contract. It made things a lot clearer, you know, like if a woman is a single mother because she's a widow or domestic, you know what, like that's different, obviously. But it's like, I can guarantee you a lot of women, it's not those cases, you know? Like,
no, not at all.
Well, you weigh in on this, Prue. What do you think? Should you be the, like, it's, okay, the stepfather thing, the original tweet that sparked this was this woman that claims to be a tradcat, this e-girl.
Oh, the feminist turned housewife. It was the account.
Yeah.
And
so, apparently Christianity is now a sexual morality car wash that you can, you know, and her husband just got to sit there. First of all, listen, I think I was arguing with my friend, Religious Sailor Moon, okay? My good friend, Religious Sailor Moon on Twitter. His original account was...
bingo.
Yeah, his original account was Racist Sailor Moon. So, I was arguing with him on Twitter, and my point was that, first of all, the reason people reacted negatively to this is that, okay, if you're like a reformed, how should I put... What's the quote? My good friend Gonzalo Lira, what's his term for it? Yeah, slatternly woman. If you're a reformed slatternly woman, okay, why would you make a big spectacle out of it on Twitter? And why would you put your husband through that humiliation? You know what I mean? So I think that's my point, is that if you're using it as a selling point to make content and be like, well, Christianity... Like here's the thing, and I believe even a lot of church fathers have said this. There are some confessions you make to the Lord that you should only make within your heart. In other words, if you make a spectacle out of, I think it's a very American... Listen, I have no hatred towards Protestants or anything, right? I don't like jive with all the faction war stuff. But like, I think it's a very like American evangelical Protestant type of impulse to evangelize through sort of like public self-effacing to the point where it becomes a spectacle. Like, I can understand if you're doing like a church group thing, or if you're doing like some kind of like constructive, like educational thing where it's like, listen, I partied, I did drugs, I like slept with a bunch of men, I had a kid out of wedlock, blah, blah, blah. I can understand. But to like go on Twitter and still, by the way, still have the beliefs that led you down the path of modernity, encouraging this type of like post-sexual revolution after the orgy society, and you make a spectacle out of it, and you say, well, my husband totally agrees with it because I'm what do the certain evangelical circles have? They have the re-virginization thing, right? You heard about this, right? I mean, you're American, you probably know, right? Like the second virgin thing,
No, I don't actually, but
you don't know this?
No, but I'm kind of... No,
A lot of charismatic churches, they believe that through the power of the Lord, you can become a virgin again, right? So that's... I know, it's total, like, it's really out there type of,
Pentecostals, not
Pentecostal low church type of stuff. But the point being is that if you're making a spectacle out of this, I feel like there's something wrong. I don't know. Like, there's something about it that's just like... I understand. Like, it's true. Like, it's true what my friend Religious Sailor Moon was saying, that it is true that you shouldn't doubt someone's sincerity of being saved from their, former self as a slatternly woman, right? So I feel it's true, but it's like, I don't know. It's like, I was trying to argue that there's still that gut level. Like, if you're a man, there's still like that gut level thing where it's like, like, listen, I know that expecting a virgin is totally not true. Like, that's impossible nowadays. Like, you're going to have a woman with some degree of experience. But it's like, I slept with 100 men. I partied. I snorted certain things. I had a kid.
Who's ready to step up?
Exactly. And as soon as they hit that, mid-30s, like, okay, listen, I know the wall discourse is stupid and it's juvenile. And I know that it's like not exactly true that it's like if you reach a certain age, like biologically, yes, it's true as soon as women hit menopause, and it's not good to have your first child later on in life. I know, like, it's true. I know the wall discourse is like manosphere nonsense, but there is something to be said about it. There is like some kind of like, if you spend your 20s partying it up, and then you got a guy that's like kind of like a late bloomer that doesn't really have experience, that focused on his building his worthiness throughout his 20s, the classic story. I feel like we're just going back to like 2015 Stardust videos. You know what I mean? No, what was that guy's name? Stardust? Well, I know there's Stardust, right? Thinking Ape, but there's that other guy, Sandman. There you go. It's like 2015 Sandman videos, like take your daily dose of red pills, right? I feel like we're back to it again. But no, I feel like it is true that if you're a guy that like wasn't blessed with riding it out in his 20s because he had different things in mind. It is like, listen, there's a war on late bloomer men across the board, okay? The age discourse. Now it's like, you have to ignore their past. Like, it's like the late bloomer man, the sensitive young late bloomer man is the war against the late bloomer man. I know, Prud, we're going to talk about so much other things, but you're just like
I let you just get it all out. That way I don't have to shoot myself live on air.
Sensitive young man. There's a war against them.
Well, speaking of online cargo cults, I've noticed that that's been the ongoing trend to not use the word incel and go for sensitive young man. It's an interesting linguistic turn of phrase. The only thing I will say on this is that Twitter provides the easiest temptation to be in that stage cage forever. Yeah, it doesn't matter what form of religion that you choose. If you convert to it, you're going to experience it, Christianity especially. And so, yeah, this whole bit, the question that I think Bjorn asked on Twitter, Gatherer Skull, good friend of mine, he had said, the next big question, and the real question, TBH, does accepting and forgiving a woman like this mean you are in some way inclined or required to enter into a relationship? Can you forgive the spiritual sin while believing the person is less than an ideal choice? And I don't wander into this stuff because I don't think that Twitter is the appropriate forum for it.
Oh, of course not.
I don't. This is not my area that I dive into. But I had said this. I said, usually I don't go wandering into these things, but no, you aren't inclined or even obligated to enter in a relationship. This goes for men and women with these kinds of issues. I mean, you can be a woman like Saint Mary of Egypt, who literally at one point in her life, while being a literal, whore and slutted around, would even turn down money because she enjoyed it that much.
Whoa.
She died a hermit and an ascetic. And we only know her story from other saints. Like, she didn't go about after her conversion to Christianity talking about what a whore she was and why it's important to convert and repent. I mean, she lived out a life as a penitent out in the desert and died with only like a sackcloth on her. Like, I don't think I'd be obligated to go out into the desert and find her and marry her. But she does set an important example that, like, there are consequences to your actions. If you can make it work with somebody else who's equally damaged or messed up, and that's probably fine. But if you're going to use a Christian veneer or any religious veneer, because I know that there are some Hindus that do it on Twitter. I have a weird overlap where I see like Hindu Twitter, Muslim Twitter, Christian Twitter. Oh, yeah. I've had a weird blow up of Muslim followers on my Substack. It's kind of strange. It's just like Omar and then Muhammad's just down on my email list. But anyways, I just don't think that it's necessary for, Twitter just enables this sort of god-awful bit of telling others how to be, when it's like James chapter 3 or 4, where it's just like, if you're going to be a teacher, you're going to be judged extra harshly. And this is a woman talking. So first issue. And then second issue, of course, being that, like, listen, I don't think that, profligating yourself out there with all your sins is going to make you look any better. I'm not big into this whole, I have to publicly flagellate myself in front of everybody in order to show how good I am. If anything, that's pride and vanity. And this woman's engaging with it. I'm glad that she's married. I'm glad that she found somebody out there that's willing to tolerate this. But this man must not have a lot of respect for himself to deal with such a public humiliation ritual. But with that being said, welcome to the Digital Archipelago, episode 30. I have no idea how long we spent on this, but we do have a lovely assortment of articles, topics, and discussions for you that aren't related to women.
And roasties.
Well, you can go to Arby's for that.
You know where I got that from? My friend actually in school, because I went to a predominantly Catholic, predominantly Italian, area enclave of Niagara. And it's funny because he would like scream it out in the schoolyard when me and my other friend were around. He'd be like, you want a Whopper? Go to Burger King. It's like, I never forget. It was so stupid, but I'm like, and so I tweeted out today, like, if you want a roasty, go to Arby's. But of course, in the quote tweets though, in the quote, because it's ironic, so it's like it shields me through a layer of irony. I'm not actually saying that. I'm just like pretending to say it. So, by the way, shout out to Lindy Observer who invented that. By the way, another great Marnet account who I believe is back. By the way, but I know a lot of people hate him for his black pill atheist takes. But it's just The guy makes you think, he's not a usual fedora tipper. I have a feeling a Jew will be able to insert women into every topic of conversation. Well, I can try. I can try, certainly. But no, Prude, you said something that I feel is, I feel like you succinctly described the debate in a nutshell and why this debate on Twitter is nonsensical. And also, St. Mary being an ascetic and sort of devoting her life to a higher purpose. That's different than like basically if you're a man and like if you're a millennial man entering his 30s, that you should basically like ignore a litany of transgressions. You know what I mean? Like I feel like it's like one of those things where it's like, well, there's a degree, like I say, listen, everyone in the modern world is damaged, and you're going to have to forgive at least some things, but to make a spectacle out of it, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like, I don't know. Are most women like this? I don't think so. I think like most women have had a few relationships and they're not like that bad. And it's like, yeah, okay. It's like maybe not good if, whatever. You're not going to get a perfect chaste virgin bride, but it's like, I don't know, to say like I slept with hundreds of men and I partied into the.
Well, that's not and it's not even the purpose or point of pointing out individuals that entered monastic penitence or anything like that. Those people had to undergo substantial changes in order to reform themselves in their life. Even people who convert or find religion later in their lives realize that they may want to join for other purposes or find them as an example in other ways, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you can adopt something and not find some kind of change. The issue with this individual, and I think that the issue that you see with a lot of individuals on Twitter that sort of engage in performative Christianity in the same way that you see performative transgressions from progressives. Like, I mean, does anyone really buy into the fact that like Sam Smith or whatever that like pudgy character is doing like satanic stuff at the Grand?
You want to talk about that? I think Oren.
No. The only point that I have to say is that at a certain point, everyone kind of gets that this is performative. Everyone gets that it is. And I think what's worse is that when you're on Twitter 24/7, or if you have to make a point, you have to bully, you have to, as you guys talk about with the Longhouse, there's a big difference between.
That was another thing this week.
Yeah. I'm trying my best to limit this to Twitter, not to be the Twitter discourse show.
True. You're right.
Way too much of that. Yeah. But the point I was trying to make is that the issue when it's performative like this at all times, they are being enabled. They are in a perpetual self-feedback loop for all sorts of pleasures online with dopamine. They've sacrificed the sexual pleasure of being with men when they can now have it all over the place on Twitter with their interactions, quote tweets, likes, and so on.
It's like clout is their Zaire, in other words.
Yeah, exactly. So they don't change. They've just substituted one vice for the other, and nothing has happened into them. Whereas individuals that do actually make a change, that literally do leave these sort of earthly things behind. And these people aren't going to, because they have to correct and be a woke scold to other men and tell men, no, you have to be the father that steps up, which no man has to. And what's worse is that we've decided in this society, as overstimulated as we are, both by products, capital, and anything that you can find on Twitter or online, that there is no place for single people. There is no place for sensitive young men. They have to be castigated out.
That's true.
But yeah, I mean, that's.
I feel like we're in the same boat.
It's all bullshit.
Yeah. No, but we're both sensitive young men. I shouldn't say that. I mean, I know you've talked publicly about your experiences in life, and well, what's funny? I was going through my spiel about roasties and that. I was like, oh shit! Like, I hope I'm not offending anyone. But I think a big problem though is, I remember last week was a few weeks ago where I admitted about the e-girls. Maybe that's not so healthy to like entertain them.
Yeah, it was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, and that was great.
Yeah,
more that, please.
I feel like, I mean, listen, I'm not saying this to chastise certain friends of mine, like Mary Harrington and Nina Power and others, but I do feel that the strange alliance that happened during the Vidian era of the rad femmes and the e-right, I feel like having somewhat enabled it myself, I feel like I've miscalculated, because they do have a lot of like man hate, misandrous type of like priors that they've just extended into current trad discourse. And that is like I agree with like certain criticisms they have of a lot of different things. Again, Twitter is not the perfect medium, but I do feel like their criticisms of certain like in-group like woman bashing is correct. But at the same time, like this week really like revealed the problems with that tenuous alliance of like rad femmes and the right. Like it's not going to happen for obvious reasons. Like, and then, well, I had a little bit of a falling out with a certain one, but like, it's just, I feel like when you do review, like the problem I have the most, here's the problem I have the most with rad femmes when it comes to the like Twitter especially, is that as soon as men reveal their vulnerability and their desire to fulfill like a traditional life with a woman and a relationship and all that, I notice that is when there's sort of toleration of like going after our common enemies, that sort of disappears. And now it becomes you're an entitled man and that's it. You know what I mean? Look at Donald Trump gaming, 30s bordering on middle age. Like, listen, you know what? I'm going to kick Donald Trump gaming. No, I'm kidding. I never do it. Donald Trump gaming is a good
I don't think I have you as a mod in my chat, Geo, either. I need to correct that.
I think you gave me a wrench.
Oh, did I? Okay, good. Yeah. Good. Yeah, but don't
correct
kick him.
That. Look at internet friend. 30 is the wall for men. Like, no, listen. 30 years old is 20 years old now in millennial. Okay, 30 years old is when a man flourishes, or so I've been told. Gio will never find himself in loving embrace of women until he learns to describe the opinions and their opinions in internal discourse. Well, maybe. Listen, it's a long road to realizing that, but I do feel that whenever you do, there's always a certain discursive third rail. There's like, what's that meter that measures water tables, right, Prude? Where it's like you go up to a certain point, it's like an overflow.
I'm not familiar with the tool. No.
They have a term for it, right? There's a certain barometer of discourse to where you get to a certain point and then you overflow into other things, and that's like the red line. And then all of a sudden this woman, this rad femme on Twitter that you thought was your friend, that you thought was like part of your side, right? Because we're both going after who's, right? We're going after that certain people that make our lives a living hell in the modern world, in piss earth, right? So but as soon as you get over that discursive limit, then all of a sudden you realize that actually, no, there are huge swaths of differences between these people. And it's like, it doesn't go very good. But anyways, Prude's internet is kind of...
There we go. It should be all right.
It should be all right? All right. Like, we can go off cam if you want, if that makes it better.
Yeah, we'll have to turn my camera off. Something is being fucky.
Yeah. Well, I mean, subject to change, mention one person. So.
Okay, we should be a little bit better now.
Yeah. Is it?
Yeah, okay, good.
All right.
Sorry about that, folks. Just I had to deal with the... I live out in the middle of nowhere. That's how it goes when it comes to an internet connection.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but some of them do just hate men. Like, I hate to say it. Like, it's... Like, listen. You're a spinster. I don't want to say it. I don't want to go there, but you're a spinster. That's one of my favorite Spencer quotes of all time.
I mean, it's a damn good funny one. But so let's, I guess, dive into what we did want to talk about today.
Let's go.
We've just
spent
20 minutes into this.
We're 20 minutes in. I'm very sorry. I had to get out my chest. This is why I love Dissident Archipelago. I had to get to Spurg. I get to release the mind poison. But anyways, moving on
to the audience. So
and on to you as well,
and on to me, which is fine. I'm nice to see that Ace is here. Howdy, Ace. So our plan for today was to talk about digital wastelands. So yes. It's funny because yesterday Twitter had that lovely, disgusting, just cock up where I couldn't tweet. You could only tweet through scheduled tweets, couldn't access your group chats, talking about character limits being modified. So if you pay for Twitter Blue, you get like $4,000 or 4,000 characters instead of 280. So I can't wait for someone to pay for Twitter Blue and spam slurs everywhere for all over the feed. But it made me think about all of the dead social media platforms that have come and gone. All the abandonware video games that are now no longer being supported or no longer accessible, and people having to basically DOSBox or create emulators to still play them. And now it's become a part of our sort of online digital culture in a way that people are making video games about it. So there's, of course, the little fan project of the haunted PS1. They've got a game called, the Agony of a Dying MMO, first-person adventure game. Another, of course, being No Players Online that came out a few years ago. And we thought, why not discuss that? And I mean, Ross Scott is one of the best, right? Accursed Farms. He's probably one of my favorites to listen to on these things. But yeah, other people have been covering abandonware. For instance, there's a guy named like The Snaker on YouTube. He does like video game reviews, but he did a video on a 2002 RTS game that's abandonware, and he spent like the first 25 minutes explaining how to run it. But it's about football hooligans in the UK, and basically just like killing other like football hooligans, going off into other parts of Europe to celebrate the football team as the Euro Championship League goes about. And it's this old piece of abandonware on the most niche subject ever of football hooligans, with like live action cutscenes, no animated FMVs, just like actual actors playing out their roles. And it was just interesting to see these games that are dead that people are trying to bring back to life. And now you're getting Friendster. When we were going through the list of names that we wanted to like talk about. Friendster definitely being one of them. I mean, Google Plus definitely went away. Ping, Vine just got killed by Twitter. Although I remember that being huge in high school. I mean, I was in high school in 2012 when that came out, and everyone and their mother had a Vine trying to be funny and trying to be like the next big thing. And there are a few people that got started on Vine that still do YouTube stuff and are relatively successful. But yeah, I mean, that was also one of the few places where you could take your stuff from Vine and put it up on YouTube. Like the counteraction to Vine was like 5-second films. Then TikTok comes around, or it was originally Musical.ly. And I find all this stuff interesting because a lot of these, it depends on when you were around and what you grew up with. I mean, Clubhouse, right?
Yeah.
Clubhouse, Vine, Friendster, Ping. There's, Ping FM, like
RuneScape.
They brought some of RuneScape back. It's not like that completely went away. Yeah, they've got like RuneScape class. Does anyone remember this, buddy? Anybody?
Whoa!
Look at that.
That's crazy.
It's like a giant RSS feed for everything you've got.
I was watching this video. Gaia Online, man, that was incredible. I remember watching this video.
DeviantArt still a thing?
Yeah, DeviantArt is actually surprisingly perennial.
Wow.
DeviantArt's still a thing. ArtStation didn't manage to destroy DeviantArt because DeviantArt will always have like the charm for like alt people, to put it mildly. But there was this video I watched where it was this like box that you could put into your cable, whereas like the internet TV. I believe MSN had one, but there was a more popular one that like you could build a website off of, and it was like really like people try to like hack the codes to get their original like basically like toolbox website. I forget the exact company that did it, but it was sort of like, and the music was incredible, like the early 2000s drum and bass tracks. Neopets. My it's funny, my cousin had Neopets. I remember
that in middle school. And then I looked up something because I really wondered what happened to it. And so in my research for this little episode, Neopets, of course, I think it's still around. Although I remember at one point in time it had something to do with its like issue with the Church of Scientology having some sort of like ownership partially into it.
What?
Yeah. So I mean, just a weird time to be alive. I mean, they even had like a PS2 game at one point, didn't they? Like, it was just date launch November 15th, 1999. It's still, apparently the developers are Jumpstart Games 2014 to present. And what was funny about that is that if you were ever to go on to the like original Neopets website, like I'm talking like 10, 15 years ago, showing off, how long this thing's been around, is that you could go around 2008, 9, 10, and if you were on there, you could go and see they had like a graveyard section for dead games or games that they no longer supported or whatever. And they had it was like a graveyard inside a graveyard, because that's how it is nowadays.
Oh my God.
But yeah, I mean,
a graveyard inside of a graveyard.
Yeah, so Neopets had links to the Church of Scientology. This was something that had been an issue a few years back, where they had, they had a founding of the Church of Scientology had some connections to the founding of Neopets.
Man,
yeah,
but I feel like there's something about shovelware that shovelware, like abandoned internetware, that like, okay, there's inherently like the nostalgic factor, obviously, but also there's how shall I put it? There's the nostalgia, obviously, but there's something about like the ruin aspect of it that in a way extends to our fascination with physical space and like urban exploration. But anyways, there's something inherently like sorry, I'm just trying to give a link to someone really quickly. For example, Guy Online, you have like a good example of like where communities that existed on the internet, they like they disappear, they go away, but then it's like, where do they go? Or like there's still like a dedicated group of people that still exist within these places, which is really funny when you do see it. Like when I was talking about with Default about the mud servers, right? Those weird, creepy, like a text-based role-playing games.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, people still are on mud servers. Like, you could still find these mud dungeons, and it's like, man, that's insane. Like that, there's still like these people. Like, I mean, Second Life is obviously like the best example of people that were originally there in the early 2000s for whatever reason. They were, a lot of them are like shut-ins or whatever. Then there's like there's like still a community of people that have like watched it change and transform. There's like Second Life Twitter that's so like thoroughly buried by the algorithm that you have to like go and seek it out, like that have all like the drama about it. No, I didn't exactly have a MySpace. I lurked MySpace, but MySpace did have that original sort of vibe to it that is like distinctly like millennial coming of age. But there was one thing I said in my Telegram chat where I said that like the problem with a lot of like when the whole like Twitter thing happened yesterday, a lot of people, like a lot of these sites, they were like half broken most of the time, and that was sort of like the charm of them in a way. But people are not used to that anymore. People are not used to having like glitches and exploits and like servers not working. People are like too used to like Web 2.0 refinement culture to like truly have a romance attached to websites. Like I was mostly on MSN Messenger. Like MSN Messenger, just like when they erased that was like the erasure of like so many childhood memories for millennials that it's just like, it was incredible. But you know what I mean? Like people aren't used to having like an experience that was tangential, that was very much dependent on like Second Life had to stick around just for the DNSL content. Yeah, exactly. No, but people had a romantic attachment to things like, for example, when Default was talking about the Sims Online that existed for a few years, like that thing was a horrendous coding nightmare, apparently, Sims Online, but people got used to it and they sort of like exploited it. And it's just like people don't have toleration for that sort of engagement with the online world, because I feel like because the online world is not only has technology made it more dependable, but the fact that it must be instantaneous for a variety of reasons, because life is very much dependent on services on the internet, but also your sort of fix of communication is so heavily dependent on it that when a website goes down, it's like a big news event. Whereas back in the day, websites, they crashed, or like their features were like nuked all the time. And it was like sort of part of the fun of like, oh, do you remember that like, you know, that chat log, or do you remember that like forum that used to crash all the time? And it's like, that became part of the experience, because I feel like the internet was treated as much more of not an extension of everyday life, but it was sort of like a thing that you went on. No space of escaping the bounds in WoW, exploring the infinite first plane. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, clipped in WoW. And it just, that was a regular thing. I had a friend actually who like tanked a lot of his grades in school by playing WoW all night on like 2 cases of Red Bull. You know, but no, the point being is that people are not like the romance of it, of like the early internet. I feel like we're nostalgic for it, but we're only nostalgic for the aesthetics of it, not the experience of it. Like
no one today could handle the experience of waiting to get into, waiting for messages to whether or not you're going to get into a guild or a clan or anything like that in an MMORPG, or even like an Xbox Live sort of online community. This was like a pre-Discord, pre-instantaneous communication that at any point in time, you know, it could disappear. The guy that ran the website, he would maybe run out of money and it wouldn't get renewed. And then you would just be like, other websites like this are, and it would just give you a list of other free domain names that were open and available. And yeah, no one could tolerate it now, because I mean, everyone flipped their lid when Twitter decided to just have a good old time to crap itself out when they were updating the character limit for Twitter Blue, and no one could manage to deal with maybe a few hours of Twitter being down. Whereas on MySpace, or even like early 2000s YouTube, like, you know, or 2006, 2007 YouTube before the Google buyout, things would not be great at all. And I mean, the same thing for like image board culture. I mean, that it's totally different from what it is now. And now it's propagated into the mainstream, where there are YouTube channels with tens of thousands of subscribers that will just do green text readings. And it's like changed the nature of the forum in the way that, you know, this kind of goes to sort of like a little bit of Virilio's dramology bit. Like the essence of speed will change the essence of the item itself. The faster that you go, you can inevitably dominate and eliminate any sort of remembrance of what used to move slower than you. And so, you know, old forms of social media where we had that sort of giddy childhood nostalgia for maybe telling someone to hang up the phone so they can reply to an email or go to AOL online. And all of a sudden that's gone and you have to deal with it. And here we are. I mean, RuneScape still exists and it still has a very active fan community, and they have RuneScape Classic. And it would be like the same way for loading up on a random server of custom games on Counter-Strike Source. And, you know, you'd have to like wait an extra long time because you didn't have this map downloaded. So you had to download all the extra assets for it. And it's just like, oh, yes, that's the good times, right? Especially playing like CS Source when it's like one of those like custom zombie maps with like, oh yeah, you're going to reenact the Battle of Helm's Deep, but it's infection. And all of the like zombie NPCs have the skin of the xenomorph from Aliens, which is great. Just, chef's kiss. Fantastic stuff, which I'm a fan of. But yeah, no, I mean, that sort of stuff is gone, but people long for the aesthetic for it. And now, like I mentioned earlier, that graveyard within a graveyard, we have in this day and age people wanting to go to digital graveyards and try and experience something that people back then couldn't experience. I mean, there's an infamous story, right, when they finally decided to shut down the original Xbox servers, I think it's called like the dedicated 16 or 13, where it was like the last several players playing Halo 2 on their original Xbox over Xbox Live. And like it's a well-recorded story of like the guys that were the last ones on before the server shut down, playing out on these servers and on these maps that wouldn't be played again until Halo came to the PC, or they got ported into Halo 3 or other games. And it's just a bizarre thing to think about because, for instance, like you can now tell horror stories and these bizarre low poly geometric shapes, which always lend more to the imagination because it's not fully detailed. It allows your mind to fill in the gaps, which is why a lot of video games have that weird uncanny valley shit like you see in like Death Stranding. It's like, yes, I know that that's Norman Reedus carrying some kind of fetus and Mountain and Monster Energy drinks, the prime sponsor. And it's bizarre because nowadays people can make horror out of it. I mean, even Gemini Home Entertainment, a well-known like YouTube horror series, has like a sort of analog video game that goes along with it with the low poly stuff to sell the horror. Or in like No Players Online, which is like one of those like Twitch.io games that you can like download and play it. And it's neat because it's just like, oh, here's this creepy thing that's following you around on this empty CTF server that was being developed by some guy, you know, one of those like
was that the
ARGs.
One? There's this video game YouTuber that does like the indie games, but like I believe the back rooms, the water rooms, you know that one?
Yeah,
I believe he had the guy that developed the indie game of like the they don't call it the water rooms, they call it infinity pools.
Yeah.
That same YouTuber did that game. Is that what we're talking about, where you have like this weird like polygon and like you're being like another person's on the server but you can't find them, and then the map changes, like, you know that one?
No, that's
like
not the one I'm
server.
No, it's not the one I'm referring to. I'm referring to the it's literally just called No Players Online, and it's just
I think I've heard of this.
Yeah, I mean it's an ARG where you're like capturing the flag, and then all of a sudden this like rather black shadowy creature figures like telling you to stop doing that. And the developers,
I think that's what I'm referring to.
Yeah, and the developers just informing you like, look, this is my way of trying to bring back my dead wife. Game's been out for a few years, so I'm going to spoil it. Yeah. Sorry, folks. I mean, it's still a fun experience for yourself, but I find this stuff interesting because
it's like necromancy, but like through the video game.
Yeah, but it's also it's like digital necromancy because you're trying to capture the image of something that once was in a time that you probably weren't around to experience it. And it's kind of funny to see people born after 2000 trying to look back for inspiration and trying to remember maybe what their older brothers or what their parents played, and are using these sort of digital wastelands, these ruins, for you to explore and create new ideas and new technologies. I mean, I would be rather interested to see if someone tries to create I mean, like, it's not like, I mean, Discord doesn't have the same things that, like, even with Nitro or Twitter Blue, there'll never be an interesting thing where I go to, like, Geo's Twitter account and all of a sudden some, like, Canadian pop punk band starts playing, right? Like, that's never coming back.
Imagine if, like, you go to my Twitter account and Our Lady Peace starts playing. Yeah. Superman's dead. No, sorry, crew. Sorry.
But I mean, that'd be great, right? Like, that would be something worth seeing. But it's not going to be that won't come back. And so, what are we doing? We create these remixes, these remakes, and all these things, trying to capture the spectacle of what it once was. Because what was a MySpace page, other than like the ultimate form of self-expression and self-commoditization? I am identifying as this. My consumer identity are these bands. These are the musics that play when you go to my page.
Oh, yeah.
And now, instead, we have to, like, you know, we have to do it ourselves to generate our own content and tweet out weird shit in order for people to pay attention to us. But it creates a fun space where you don't know where things are. I mean, even during the time of, like, Xbox and early online internet games, I mean, like, there was the Ghost of Lockout, you know, circa 2004, 2005, where it's two friends playing on Halo 2's like Lockout map, and then there's a third unknown NPC ghost character. No one else is in the server. There's no real explanation for it, but, you know, it's like, oh, you know, maybe these things can be haunted. Who knows? And it illustrates that all these things long gone, they are ruins. Like, for instance, like Millennial Woes' Twitter account is back, and you can follow him if you want. But until hasn't really tweeted anything. And so his entire Twitter profile.
Oh, he did actually.
Well, yeah, I know he did. Yeah, because he had said he was back, but his entire Twitter profile
it's like a time capsule.
Yeah, it's a time capsule of what like dissident alt politics looked like 4 or 5 years ago. I mean, his account was started in 2014, but I mean, you know, it's the same thing with people having entire records of Usenet forums on the internet, where some of these don't have that. You know, I mean, the digital, you know, the Wayback Machine or the Internet Archives have some of it, but you're not going to be able to go back and see all these things. And so what do you get? It's like the libraries of ancient times where you had to preserve what was popular. And so if you go look up any sort of like Vine compilation today on YouTube, stuff from a few years back, it's going to be really repetitious of the same stuff over and over and over again, because it's the same way we only really have the Iliad and the Odyssey, despite the fact that there are like 12 other books. You know, we preserved what was popular.
Yeah. But also I feel like MySpace, it was interesting because oh my God, he quoted a tweet from Cernovich saying, "What the fuck is this guy smoking?" And there's the second one. I'm so tired of Ben Shapiro carefully pretending that the white race is not under attack. I'm just gonna go through all of his tweets and be like, and retweet them like nonstop. Like, oh my God, he's got one about like the cop with the LGBT like uniform, but it's like it's like a 2018, like just the normal rainbow costume. Like, it's, my God. British
the
politician.
normal rainbow costume. Oh man, what a weird thing to say out loud.
Oh my God. Return to tradition. The the gays against the G words. Yeah, that count. Return to tradition. They
became the meme. We're literally in the Stone Toss comic where the Republicans of today, it's like, actually the neo-Leninists are the real transphobes. That's where we're at. I mean, like, even George Santos character, who's like the perfect embodiment of the Amerimut 56% meme. And today he's talking about his like interaction with Mitt Romney. I mean, none of these characters are good people. They're all deplorable, awful human people. But
who Mitt Romney? What?
Yeah, so that George Santos, that weird homosexual Republican
is
character.
I knew he was gay, but so is he like the Republican like a gay vote? Is that what they're trying to do?
I mean, I guess the log cabin Republicans had found their Mexican femboy to like latch behind.
I call them McMartin Tunnel conservatives.
And he was talking about this interaction with Mitt Romney, and he was using the same language as the left, like, these privileged people, that always tell me to sit down and never be anywhere. And it's just like, so we're having a sassy gay man just doing the role for the Republicans now, very, very, that's where we're at, guys. Maybe we should do return to tradition where the rainbow meant God's promise to not flood the earth again, but here we are.
Yeah. But I retweeted this one of Woes where he's got, can I get a more high-res version of the angry Sargon meme? I'm like, man, that's total 2018. Because like the Sargon of 2023 is way closer to Millennial Woes in 2018 than I have to say it. We all know how base Sargon is. Apparently, I was listening a little bit. I didn't listen to the whole thing where Sargon was engaging with Evola on UO yesterday. Did you see that, Prude?
Oh, he had Sargon on for a cigar stream?
Yeah.
I did not know.
They were talking about Evola, but what I was going to say about MySpace is that MySpace, I feel like modern social media, I mean, it could be wrong because, of course, I only know the Zoomer experience through like interacting with them on Twitter. So the MySpace, like the music culture was the whole thing of MySpace. And that, like, to the millennial, like music culture was pretty much everything. Like the whole Pitchfork thing, MySpace, you know what I mean? Like that was the zenith of it. And very much your music determined who you are. Like, do you remember the guy that did the spoof comics, Your Scene Sucks? Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that stuff. And it's like, I believe you wrote in one of them with the scene girl. It's like, because of course music is your whole identity. That's not like, that doesn't exist anymore. I feel like, I could be wrong, but I don't feel like Zoomers have the same degree of like powerful attachment as like, I am a deathcore guy, I'm an emo, I'm a scene girl, I'm like whatever, right? Like I feel like Zoomers, I mean, did they place as much stock in like music culture as us millennials did? I don't know.
This is an interesting thing, right? Because where do people go to find, like, I was listening to, I have a playlist that has like waltz and music and things like that I listen to. And one of them popped up and it kind of threw me off guard because sometimes I like going through the comment section on these videos.
Yeah.
And it was, I think it was the song it was the waltz on the hills of Manchuria, and it's a Russian waltz. It was, it's very famous. But I went through the comments and they were like, "Oh, I'm so glad I found this through X, Y, and Z." And it was some like TikTok account or whatever. And I was thinking to myself, that's how people are finding music these days, is through other people performing out with some kind of fun music in the background, or people using modified remixes and reverb, things like that. I mean, Lord knows there's enough of that for Little Dark Age, but even Undertale has enough edits and things like that where TikTokers and things will use it. So it's like, oh, all these people are using to find music or through parasocial relationships with other people, and not because they listened to something and they thought it was good and it was interesting. And so, you had to curate an identity based on what you could create and what you could find and what you vibed with, right? Like that was your sort of consumer based identity. And nowadays it's just algorithmically assigned to you. And it's just like, whew, that's where we're at.
Internet Friend had a great point here. Before that though, my favorite part was, speaking of Undertale, I remember in 2018, it was the Wrestle Kingdom where Kenny Omega, his intro he was the world heavyweight champion. He had the he had like the Undertale. It was like one of this like edited things where it's like it's his whole journey, blah blah blah, and it's like then he just got beat by Tanahashi, like the face of Japanese wrestling tradition. So that was pretty cool. But anyways, Donald Trump, not Donald Trump Gaming, Internet Friend said, "I don't remember when it happened. When Pitchfork hard shifted into rap idolatry, you can tell that the vibe shifted. They don't even rank ITAOTs anymore as their number one album in the 90s. What? That's crazy. All the good writers of Pitchfork, they left though. Like, what's the guy's name? Chris Ott? Yeah, he left and basically became like not even a hipster monstrosity. It became like this other mainstream thing. But what's funny though about Pitchfork is that the real, like, how J.K. Rowling exploded the brains of all the millennials that grew up on her, like on Harry Potter, right? So indie music, the equivalent would of course be our guy, my good friend Ariel Pink, and because Ariel Pink, he still gets these insane messages from like music critics where he's like, "You're a fascist, you're an abuser, I can't believe you," and it's like literally Ariel Pink, all those people like MGMT and all those like indie, like all the like more popular indie bands, they all basically ripped off Ariel Pink, and like he was their guy. He like started like Pitchfork indie, like he, way before all these people, and they just like had to totally just destroy him now to be like, "Oh, actually he was never good." Like, bro, you are basically the dollar store Ariel Pink. There's like dozens of them, and they're like, "Oh, well, Ariel Pink was never good." Like, you like it's incredible. It's incredible. Ariel Pink is such a champ. He really destroyed these people. But that's anyways getting off point. That's getting off point. So yeah, Ariel Pink is tweeting messages of people that send him these DMs. And one guy's like, "I can't believe it. Did you always realize he was a crypto fascist?" Oh, God, I love Ariel Pink.
Oh boy. I mean, but that's what I find so interesting is about if you're going to do any sort of digital archaeology or even digital historiography, that all of a sudden, what are you going to encounter is that people had it was very stratified, but there were options, there were choices. I mean, yes, Twitter and other online communities do have a tendency to self-segregate, but I mean, what are your options? These like sort of mainstream platforms, maybe the occasional like forum website that someone hosts until it gets taken down for lewdness or piracy or whatever. But I mean, that's where it is. Like you have the sort of generational divide of all forms of social media. I mean, even now where Facebook was created in 2004 for nerds that may or may not have been supported by certain government entities to go spy on that chick that they were interested in one of their classes in Ivy League universities, to where now it's just where boomers go and and older Gen Xers. Twitter seems to be very much the epitome of a millennial space. and then all of a sudden you have
Aging
TikTok
millennials.
and aging millennials. Taylor Lorenz is the perfect example, and nowadays it's just like it's all kind of homogenized. You're sort of given, even YouTube's doing the same thing. I mean, in its efforts to compete with TikTok, right? Like I keep getting emails from like YouTube Creator Studio, like letting me know like you can monetize your YouTube Shorts now. You can make money off Shorts. Yeah, I know. You did one on that god awful Unheard article by Tinksword. That's another. Okay, I'm gonna shift gears for a second. I want to talk about that because
we'll talk. Go ahead. That
was hilarious.
Yeah.
Because so for those unfamiliar,
by the way, Digital Archipelago is a pro Perry Abassi.
We are pro Pericles on this podcast. We are pro alpha male on this podcast. But to give everyone some backdrop on here, I'm going to go to the actual Unheard article. Not that I want to give Pink Sorg any attention.
He's like speed running the campfire.
Oh, I can't. Well, he hasn't talked about Thule yet or anything, but eventually we'll get there. But he had a lovely sort of discussion. Let me see if I can find it.
I feel like a year ago you could probably give Tingsorg the benefit of the doubt. It's like, okay, yeah, he's a Marxist or whatever, but I feel like it was such a random attack too.
All right, yeah, so here we go.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna bring it up on screen. We're just gonna enjoy this because I thought this was funny. Because the only thing that I really have to say about this was that physician, heal thyself. This. Oh my god! Like this is what killed me about it. Is it's like you are so desperate to have this sort of cult of personality. You cling to any guy that gives you attention.
By the way, before we go on, I only see a few super chats in the thing. So give deep and give good.
Do the needful and
do the needful. Yeah.
And Sneed. There you go.
If you love this top tier content of like totally bombing on Unheard and Compact Mag writers, then you can, yeah, look at that. And he's got to use like the worst one of Perry. He should have used my drawing of Perry. That would have been better. Would have been more like article friendly.
But this is what sort of irks me about it. This is like, let's just go with the title. How the online right gave up on reality. Millennials can't keep shit posting forever. Au contraire, my friend.
You know what's so funny though is
we're
that
shit post forever.
Yeah, we are gonna shit post forever. But you know what's so funny is that Perry, he like has a lot of friends that are friends of ours, but like he's not like the most right wing person. Like he's not like, you know what I mean? Like that guy, that the journalists that try to smear him, like he's not like. Perry's not like a right.
He's not Cum Groiper 1488 for God's sakes. He's just a guy that shit posted his way into a wife and a successful career.
And the thing is with Perry is that he's like totally fearless. Like he'll like retweet like literal like flag and like trans flag in the bio people that like make a gay edit of him where like Perry's in a bathhouse in the 80s, and then like he'll like retweet like a spinny wheel. I'm like, bro, you're so real for that. He'll retweet like where Perry's got like this spinny wheel in the background, and he's like in like Hyperborea. Like it's
yeah, he has no chill. Despite the fact that like he is an election attorney running for office in Chicago and met his wife through Twitter.
Yeah.
Perhaps the most successful, only successful. Well done.
Apparently, a certain forum thinks I'm a Red Scare reply guy now.
So. Well, when you tweet things like you're a Dasha or you're an Anna girl.
I'm an Anna man.
There you go. Talking about merch. I see why.
I should wear a shirt. I should get a shirt made and I'll wear it on stream that says I'm an Anna man. That'll get me on Red Scare.
Dear God. But it's only a matter of
Perry's
time.
Like next level. Every single day he'll tweet out a photo of Dasha.
Oh, I'm loving filed under faith and meaning. Conservatism, internet, millennials, online right, Twitter. Whoo! I wonder what else is filed under faith and meaning real quick. Let's see here. Theme,
it's gotta be
faith
some
and
rad
meaning.
femme.
The Vengeful Ex-Girlfriends of TikTok by Kat Rosenfield.
Whoa!
Oliver Bateman, steroids won't cure toxic masculinity.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I like Oliver. But
Mary Harrington's We Get the Sculptor We Deserve.
Is that about Fen?
No, that's about the god-awful MLK statue.
Oh, okay, good.
And how Bill Clinton created a post-truth America. And then, of course, his article. There are plenty more. There's like 52 pages of this. But anyways, only a matter of time before the American media delivered a story of a millennial forced to choose between pure posting and real politics. In the past 2 decades as our guide, their decision was inevitable. They would choose the post. Emperor Nero was alleged to have fiddled while Rome burned, but a millennial poster today would have logged onto Twitter shitposting his way through the cancellation of everything prior generations might have held. We already do this, though.
Have this guy, I shouldn't say it, but has this guy ever heard of Patrick Little?
Where was this guy when Trump was in office tweeting?
Yeah.
Where were you in 2015?
Where were you in Paul Nealon, bro? Jeez. Okay, yeah, granted he's not a millennial, but still not the point.
Yeah, so on January 19th, the Chicago Reader revealed that the 36-year-old Pericles Perry Abbasi, a campaign attorney who was running for office in Chicago's 25th Police District with the backing of the Fraternal Order of the Police, had a history of the most bizarre and unseemly content on social media. He had, among other things, retweeted a Photoshop image of himself as the police officer Derek Chauvin with one knee on George Floyd's neck. And a linked screenshot from a group chat he had written that horrible black diet was the reason for 1350.
What's so crazy about that is that they're like legit like black now. I remember Argent, he got this like Black Nationalist magazine that he read on air where he's like, they legit have like articles about how like soul food and like basically like the diet of African Americans are like basically causing their like low IQ criminality. Like, so this is like a legit like Hotep Black nationalist like talking point. And so, like, you know what I mean? Like, and it's true. Like, I don't know if it's true or not. Like, I know that a lot of soul food has like seed oils, and the way they cook it, it's very like, you know what I mean? Like, I believe.
Maybe don't wash your chicken either, but
yeah,
But I wouldn't remember everything I tweet either, and like there are some that people will DM me, be like, "Hey, I saw this on like a meme thing on YouTube," and I'm like, "Oh God, why that's concerning."
I never remember all the Breakthrough Rules streams where I like went off. I forget.
Hell, I don't remember half the things I say on these streams.
Like the one they could get me was when Russia first went into Donbass, and then I played the Soviet national anthem and I said "Help Hitler, Help Hitler." Like that was probably, I probably shouldn't have done that. But
did you keep that one or delete it?
I think like the stream is still there. I believe someone clipped it. Yeah, or maybe Lev deleted it. I don't know, but I know the stream is still there.
Did he keep all your old episodes?
Yeah, I think so.
Maybe
I have to check. Like, what's crazy?
Nearly 104,000 times over the past 4 years, averaging 70 tweets per day.
Whoa.
Okay. Don't you do the same? Like this?
Don't you do the same to Zorg?
Yeah, I was like, this is like I said, physician heal thyself moment.
I think it was Nicholas Saldo that took the photo of this article, but took the photo of Tingsorg's account where he's got like the Kim Il Sung, what's his name? Kim Jong Il's sister. And it's like this total art fest. Like it's you want to talk about being terminally online. Like it's just. Why does it? First of all, why doesn't he have a professional? Respecter. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, what if he's an unheard writer? How come he doesn't have like a professional, like real name Twitter account?
Oh well, because you know why?
Yeah,
the online right is racist.
True.
In the same way that Zero HP Lovecraft will tell Pedro Gonzalez to go back to Mexico. Like these things happen.
He doesn't like Tingsorg doesn't look like he looks like nerdy. Like, I mean, I don't know. He doesn't look that bad in the unheard photo, but I get the subtext of like why they quote tweet him with his photo. But he doesn't like look that like, I don't know. He doesn't look that bad. Like, listen, I shouldn't be judging guys, of course. That's kind of sussy baka behavior. But I don't know, like Twingsorg, he doesn't. I keep saying Twing. I can't. It's funny when journalists describe me. Yeah, it's sort of like the clip of Law and Order where it says incel freak and like Stacy and Chad. It's like Stacy and
or when they have to come up with like fake social media names because they can't like afford to like write the real thing. Like, oh, he's on this place called like Reddit Chan or whatever, and it's just like, guys, you need to get better writers. Like,
Red
please.
Chan. Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Oh man. But yeah, moving on. Many of Abbasi's clients were less than impressed by this. Ooh!
I think it's too early to tell until whether or not this affects his real life. I mean, has he been fired anywhere? Has he lost like hundreds of thousands of dollars? I mean, so far, all that I've seen has been an unending draw of internet support. Where everyone from like Alec Baldwin's brother to like Nick Adams retweeting you and supporting you. So rather a broad basis of characters.
Did you know Adam Baldwin coined the term Gamergate?
I did not.
You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah. He was the first one that coined the term Gamergate.
Oh, Lord.
I know.
Oh, boy.
But anyways, so, no, I think like Perry, I think he pretty much, he knows his clients personally. So I know they're not going to like bail on him for like posting memes. Like, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't work for some faceless corporation. He like works for a law firm. And they believe he's semi-private practice. You know what I mean? I don't know.
He hasn't been fired from his firm. And what kills me about this, people shitpost all the time. And there are plenty of face lords that do it, ourselves included, although we're not nearly as like publicly or professionally as accomplished as Perry is.
Oh yeah.
But, this is the thing, right? But that was 8 years ago. During that time, many former members of these subcultures found partners and started families, leading them to naturally drift away as they assumed the responsibilities of the adult world. But others, such as Abbasi, remained there, stuck like Peter Pan in a permanent virtual neverland.
That just doesn't make any sense.
Remove the plank from your own eye. He hasn't gotten fired. This is the thing that kind of kills me about it.
No, but like you're accusing him of being Peter Pan, but like Perry's not like a neat incel. He's not, you know what I mean?
He's an attorney.
Like, yeah.
Engaged.
He's engaged. Like, this is what I mean. Like, it's not, this was terrible. Like, who greenlit this article, by the way? I wonder.
It makes you wonder.
Like, no, because that's like legit misinformation. Like, if you're accusing him of being Peter Pan, if Perry was like a neat in a basement that like got fired or whatever, like you know what I mean? Like, no point in commenting on that part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Abbasi story is interesting then because here was someone who had punched his ticket out of the overproduced netherworld of millennial losers. He acts like he's dead. He had a good career, good education, good skills, and a good client base for law practice. He cultivated political patrons, and he's preparing to get married. Yet there he is, posting under his own name at a prodigious rate, and his generation wouldn't attempt to match unless masked by anonymity, posting his life away. I've had my Twitter account for not nearly as long as he has, but I mean, the tweet number under mine illustrates that you can post your life away. Historians and cultural theorists have argued that civilizations have collective death drives fueled by an oppressive atmosphere of decay and decline. And here is a new variation of the posting drive. Abbasi is continuing to run for office in Chicago now that he has secured a coveted endorsement of some New York-based dissident podcast. Is that a sly reference to? Yeah, it is. Come on.
Yeah.
He's willing to go down with the ship. So irony poisoned. But is he? I think you can. He's not.
No, Perry believes in new sincerity. What are you talking about? Like, he's all about new sincerity.
He is not the first such millennial to go out this way, nor will he be the last, as many of his entire generational cohort, along with the aging, weakening American, that subsides its narcissistic waste, seem likely to follow suit in due course. There are alternatives to running a nation state to failure, such as serious involvement in real politics. Let's see. He links an article to the American Conservative, written, of course, by Oliver Bateman and himself.
Didn't he talk? What about Sargon? Sargon tried to do that.
Oh, you mean
it failed.
You mean to helping crash and burn during the UKIP MVP run? Woo!
He was so real for that, Sargon. I gotta admit, it's
all those videos are still up. I think we covered some of the titles.
Yeah. So amazing, but he's this is a dramatic fall from grace. It's not
he's trying to paint this character as Milton's version of Satan.
You know, if I were to have written that article, first of all, I wouldn't, but you know what I mean? Just for theoretical sake, for example, did you have breakfast this morning, Prude?
Yes, I did.
What if you didn't?
Well, I'd probably be hungry.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I didn't have breakfast because I don't eat breakfast anymore, but no, but anyways, if I were to have written this article,
Oh,
Like,
you know what was funny though about that question? Someone sent that in as a super chat the other day on unpopular
yeah.
opinions, and like
And
I don't read jokes, and I was like, okay.
An academic age, you didn't know what it was about. It's like, why would someone ask that?
I had to mute myself. I was laughing too hard.
Oh, I listened to up to the end. I had to like skip back because I missed the part about the minks about N5N1 or whatever. I know it's like as soon as I heard you Jippy say it was a nothing burger, I'm like, yeah, it's a nothing burger. But no, I was gonna say if I were to write this article, first of all, like when you like drop an intellectual reference just to make yourself smart, like we've all done this, right? But I feel like, okay, first of all, he didn't explain what the death drive is. He didn't explain like how Freud concluded the death drive as an integral part of the what he calls the organism, like replace the organism with the self, right? That's what of course, Freud tried to be like le pseudoscientific, I'm a perfect scientist. So instead of saying the self, he said organism, right? So why does the death drive relate to the drive to post? He didn't explain that. Is he explaining that the drive to post is the same in that it's a thanatoic principle that that basically longs for the equilibrium of the organism itself? It longs for psychic completion. Why would he make that reference? Like, if I were to write this, I would say, okay, the drive to post and the death drive are similar in the sense that they long for a completion into a grander entity than the mere self. So with the death drive, it's like it's attached to the nirvanic principle that's at the heart of all religious expression, according to Freud, because of course Freud was like a fedora tipper that hated religion, so he tried to like psychoanalyze it. And you could say the drive to post is the death drive in the sense of it's driving towards the completion of the organism in a greater entity, which is the internet, to become a total true like liminal online being, right? But Twinksdorf did not say this. He's just like, oh, the Freud said the death drive, and like there's a drive to post. It's like, why? It's like literally just to make him sound smarter. Like, why would like you have to like make that connection there? And we all do
it's
this.
like when
obviously.
William F. Buckley like puts in a nice French or Latin phrase to accentuate his point.
Yeah, Young used to do that all the time with Arab phrases. But no, but you know what I mean? Like, it's just, why would he put that in there? How is it related to the death drive? Are you saying that it's the death of sincerity, or it's the death of taking real life, seriously? Are you saying like that's a death drive, that being an online entity is sort of like a death in itself? Which are all good questions. But the problem where Tingsort fails is that in this case, it doesn't apply. There are like literally hundreds of lol cows you could go through that could illustrate Tingstorg's point. But he had to attack Perry because it's a current sexy thing. And he's like, and Perry like had immense support from other people on the online world, right?
For online right. I mean, wouldn't a better example, and this isn't to cast aspersions for anyone who's a fan or remember the days, but I mean, does one not have to like look at Ethan Ralph as a more like prominent example of this?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, you have to double down because this is your life now. Like, Perry has managed to successfully manage an online life, but also like a real world one.
Yeah.
And I think that, is sort of overly online as he is, that you can successfully keep a healthy balance between the two, which is almost like an impossibly fine line for most people to maintain like a healthy online balanced community and career. But it's just like, for some people, you do irony poison yourself, or you go so far in your edginess that
you get beat up in Portugal.
But also that this becomes your only way to make money.
Yeah.
And that you're forced to be that kind of character. And that's the thing that I find particularly interesting, is that, well, we're going after someone who's managed to make it work. But that tends to be the issue.
There are dozens of examples of people that don't make it work.
There are.
Yeah. You know what's funny? Because you could like easily write this template of an article for like any sort of like online locale. Yeah, like, or online personality. Like, because I remember like, yeah, man or woman. Like, because even like I remember back in the day in 2018, this was like the exact style of article that like like the Independent was writing about millennial woes when like he was
this is sort of the template to how you dox somebody.
Yeah.
Except he's an already publicly facing figure.
Exactly. Like that's what I mean. Like there was whole like articles about like Colin Robertson is like a neat and a dangerous neo, you know what? And it's like the same, like he had a promising life in art school, blah blah blah. And it's like the same like hit piece you could write over and over again. Like someone like Ethan Ralph, the lore is just like too deep. That's like, what do you include? You know? Like I know people were blaming like Good Old Boys or whatever for like entertaining people like Tingswork, but like honestly, I feel like you can't really control, like there's a lot of like people that I've talked to on Follow the Rules that I regret. You know what I mean? Like you can't really control for you know, you can't really control like the friends that you're with being like not, you know what I mean? Like you can't, those things happen inevitably. But like you shouldn't like fault a podcast for, like I know people had this take about, well, you know, the Good Old Boys, they brought in like Tingzorg and Oliver Vayman, blah blah blah. It's like you can't really, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, that's a kind of, that's a low blow. I feel like they're like, the one thing I regret the most was the Mr. Girl stream. I wish that would have never happened. That's like the one I wish would never have happened. Just like platforming someone like that is like not, you know what I mean? Like I get like Lev at the time, he's like, oh, this is a current thing and everyone's freaking out and oh my god, we have this guest and it's gonna be a lot of views. But sometimes views like don't really matter when it comes to like, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, no, I wholeheartedly agree. Like one time, and this isn't to cast aspersions on the person that invited me. I had no idea, however, that the person, like I went on the show and then like halfway through it, Kurt Doolittle came on, who who I have not liked. And I think very early in my Twitter career, I got blocked by him. And I was just thinking to myself, oh Lord, I was just like, this is awkward, you know? And so, yeah, I mean, there are times where I've definitely regretted a few things or interactions, but nothing to, I find it interesting that there is this strange overlap. And this has sort of been my sort of growing concern in the back of my head is that, well, we always talk about this like neocon cycle, you know, these disaffected Trotskyists that have become neoconservatives, especially of the Bush years. I mean, like this was like one of big Francis Fukuyama's like big articles outside of the end of history.
Yeah.
And, you know, I can't help but think to myself, well, what is like, even with Chapo Trap House, right? There was that sort of overlap of like Bernie bros that voted for Trump in 2016 and sort of stuck with it in 2020 after Bernie didn't win the primaries. And you can kind of see it in, and I mean, the Distributist has covered this because those are his people. But I mean, you know, he did a video about sort of Matt Kreisman trying to like talk to his followers, which of course are, you know, these white disaffected class oriented guys.
Yeah.
And so like, well, where else do they have to go but sort of like dissident or alternative politics, because that's sort of like the last place for you to be that kind of person. And I totally understand it. I do, because but that also means like if you're sort of like an ideological purist, or if you are very specific about who you want to associate with, that means that you have a harder tightrope to walk on, because like, yeah, like you don't know whose opinions are going to be more Marxist oriented, or you don't know who's going to have a taste for something that you find to be ideologically or personally repulsive. And so it's just like, oof, you know, like that's sort of the problem I find in sort of these spaces. And this is something that you and Woes talked about is that when they're semi-permeable, that tends to be the case, you know? And I, you know, for me, I don't have a problem with it because I still like talking to people that I vehemently disagree with. But because politics and the online spaces have become so bloody tribalized, like it's worse than I think at any point in time before. Because, you know, it doesn't matter if you call someone anathema. Like if the rest of the crowd does, then like, you know, you've kind of excluded yourself, not the other way around. And that can mean any people can be around anywhere. But I mean, if I were to ever talk to, you know, Malcolm, sure, why not? You know, if I were to ever talk to Oliver Bateman, sure, why not? Like, I'm not ever going to have a problem with it, but at the back of my mind, I have to know that like there are going to be somewhere down the line ideological, political policy hard points that we're probably going to disagree with.
I feel like, I feel like it depends like what their own particular character is like. Like, for example, I entertain the idea of talking to Crumpler, but like with Matt Crumps, like, you know that anyone he interacts with, he's gonna make a catty Substack article about how you're a fascist, and he'll like he'll stab you in the back. So it's like certain people, you just like inherently, it's just better to stay away from them because it's like what's gonna happen. And so it's like, yeah, like it would be nice to talk to Crumps, but it's like one of those, yeah, maybe not.
Oh, you don't want to get called like an edgy, like fat boy fascist by Matt Crumps in a Substack where everyone's going to quote tweet it and laugh.
Oh, true. No, because I feel like no, but I resent like if you have a nice conversation with someone and then they go and act like a schizo. Like it's kind of like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like Crumps, he just hangs around like Dime Square because he's not like particularly like he I don't know. I guess he feels like he's getting too close to the cow, like he's getting too close to the animals in the wild. But I feel like his commitment to leftist ideology is more spottier than a lot of leftists that would just outright like say that these people are anathema and like they don't you know what I mean? Like they don't deserve any sort of quarter. So what's this from the Bulwark DC perspective? DC perspective is kind of right, Prude. You need to get on shorts. Like, listen, there's a certain friend of mine, a certain friend, if you will, that's like trying to get me to go on TikTok. I'm like, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. But
the Bulwark got, oh boy, embrace their hate. You used to have to pay to be called a fat boy fascist, at least in New York. The politics costs extra, honey, and exhales Lord knows how much cigarette smoke.
Man.
Okay, did that come? Oh, now I gotta go check up on live chat here and see which article, who's featured in here. Oh yeah, it was you. I remember that, DC. They called you a dorm room David Duke, the Bulwark.
What?
Yeah, the Bulwark went after our boy DC Perspective.
Joe Ken, a grown-ass man candidate for Congress, humiliates himself in live stream for teenagers by national.
Yeah.
Wait, times. DC's Perspective is David Carlson?
Yeah.
Whoa! Wow, my God.
Good times.
I love you, bro. You did good work, man. I don't apologize. Like that's, look at this, man. That's crazy. We have DC Perspective in our chat.
He was my first guest on my channel.
Oh, David Carl. Oh, DC. I thought it was like DC as like Washington DC, but no, it's David Carlson. Man.
We're not.
Yeah,
sorry.
man. That you like listen, DC, like going on a live stream with Joe Kent, that was truly a griperous moment. So I'm like that was you're real. You're so real for that, DC. Man. I love how they say grown ass man, kind of like this like bitchy 2010s, like feminist, like the Jezebel type of article.
He's a
like,
grown ass man. He should be doing better than this. Be better. Like it's a perennial thing. By the way, I was in my own apartment on it. See, look at you. You're on your own. You have an apartment. You're doing well. We're not sorry. We're not stepping down.
Tim Miller is the Bulwark writer at large, author of the best-selling book Why We Did It, a travelogue from the Republican Road to Hell. What's this book about?
I bet you it sucks. Actually, you know what? Screw that. We should review it. We should review it. We should review it. The travelogue from the Republican Road to Hell, a bestseller, political, social sciences, politics, and government by Tim Miller. Oh God, he looks like atrocious.
Yeah, he looks like
that looks rough.
He's seen a few things.
Yeah, he's seen a few things. Number 20 in political parties, number 100 in history and theory of politics, and rank 123 in political commentaries. And
all these reviews are fake, right?
Oh, of course. Yeah, I mean,
they're all fake.
Tim Miller is an MSNBC analyst, host of Not My Party on Snapchat.
Not My Party on Snapchat.
Communications director for Jeb Bush. I can get this for free via audiobook. Let's go.
Let's do
it. Should listen to this garbage. We should review it.
Was touted in 2015 in the future of the Republican Party. Now he's upset because his career was ruined. Truly a griperous moment. Yeah, Trump, he really did body a lot of those like Republican DC hacks. Like he just like destroyed him. We should get listen, we should review this book and we should get DC perspective on the show to
Yes,
like review it with us.
Absolutely.
Truly, but that Joe Ken article truly like that truly was a Groyper's moment where he like got Joe Ken to like edge post.
Oh, he has quote unquote a husband apparently.
Oh wow,
that is the future of the Republican Party.
Yeah, what's the guy's name? Walker's son. That's the future of the Republican Party.
Oh, Christian Walker.
Christian Walker, Carlson. We're talking about
going to red
here.
states to have big man muscular Santa Claus. Like, oh gosh, just pluck my eyes out.
We're talking about demographics here. American demographics right now are like what 70% white, 30% minority. Then Joe Ken says, has a lot more to do with that. Like we're bringing in, I think America is very lucky for the fact that the people to our south are Hispanic community. Most of them are Christians, blah, blah. So yeah, Kent has got to do the whole Republican natural conservative thing. Again, I don't want to absorb all, but we are very lucky compared to Europe with their version of Mexico as Africa and the Middle East. Whoa, Kent had to like go to like European style identitarianism to like make his point that Mexicans are better. So like DC perspective really like put him in a corner there.
I mean, I don't know.
Let's see how this drug war pans out.
I guess I guess that weird syncretic, narco occultism might be slightly better than a bunch of angry Algerians in Paris. Who knows? Only time will tell.
What, you mean like Aztecas skinning people alive? Like that's gonna be better than
No, we need to have like 24/7 Predator drones along the US border. Let's not kid ourselves.
Like I get that point. Mexicans probably are better than a lot of the migrants at Europe. You know what I mean? Like that's just an objective thing, but like I don't know though. I feel like it's not like the Mexicans themselves, it's just that the drug war will bring about huge problems to the American security state.
It's already here.
It goes without saying.
It's already here. Like that's the key problem. It's like, say even if the United States wanted to do something like publicly facing it, said, okay, we are going to make Sicario 3 or like we're going to go
real life.
We're going to make it happen in real life. Okay, then what happens? Some drone operator with a wife and kids who's been doing his job for the U.S. military gets doxxed by some tranny Antifa supporter, and then all of a sudden
he gets beheaded by a chainsaw.
Yeah.
So it's like, or he's like MAGA conservative on Twitter, gets doxxed as a drone operator against the cartels, and then all of a sudden, then like all those Antifa tracker accounts like dox him, and then you know what's gonna happen.
Yeah, like that's the current nature of America's like two-story state is a fundamental national security issue that if you wanted to take care of any problem along the south of the U.S. border, wouldn't happen. It couldn't, because I mean, that kind of thing would very much take place. Is that some drone operator, some army guy that's like gung-ho, rah-rah, probably, and is probably a normie con, right? Voted for Trump both times, probably a third time.
Probably voted for Bush back in the day.
Probably voted for Bush back in the day. Probably buys Black Rifle Coffee Company coffee. He's a normal dude, and then all of a sudden, doxxed and then chainsawed. Like that's what's going to happen. And it won't even help that the guys that probably dox him are probably going to be his Hispanic cohorts down in the barracks.
Yeah,
like, that's where we're headed, kids.
The American military state is like, there's huge problems there. Like that's what I mean. Like demographically, like you understand, like that's, unless like America like is threatened enough by a cartel war to the point where, like, you gotta realize in South America, apart from Central America, these cartels are basically just like they're like the what's that one the FARC. Like they're like paramilitary groups.
Oh yeah,
like,
the Revolutionary Forces of Colombia.
Yeah.
The Americans, along with the European Union, tried to disarm, integrate politically, and to stop the drug trade with alternative crop development. Tens of billions of dollars did not work.
Yep. In the 80s, they did Paraquat. Remember that?
Yeah.
That didn't work either. It just gave a bunch of hippies with a weed addiction cancer. What's funny? My old man, he believes that I had an uncle that died of throat cancer. And he was a huge, hippie, like 60s hippie, right?
Yeah.
And so, I don't know, my old man speculates that he probably smoked ganja that had paraquat on it, right? The weed killer. And so it's like, you never know, right? Like you never know. But no, that didn't work. That failed. Trying to like prop up other like militaries that that go after these drug cartels, that didn't work. Like, what are you gonna do? Like when the Mexican cartels become full paramilitary groups, giving hippies cancer-based encartment pill. Oh, that's terrible. That's
So okay,
terrible.
I saw what you were talking about, Beatnik. I see that is that apparently, Twitter's new head of trust and safety has implemented a policy without notice that makes journalism on domestic terror and threats of violence near impossible to platform. After Andy Ngo was locked out of Twitter and had multiple posts related to certain organizations' threats removed, Ella Irwin shared that the policy of Twitter is that screenshots of tweets calling for violence can't be shared on the platform as part of journalistic undertaking because reporting on the threats in those tweets is akin to making threats themselves. Yeah, so we're going to just punish, we're going to just enable this BS to happen more.
So what can't you do anymore on Twitter?
So you can't take screenshots or quote tweet, apparently, what Antifa's doing. So when they like call for violence or organizing against certain people, they say that that's just as bad as making the threat itself. So like they've just killed like Andy's like Twitter career.
No, but it's funny because those Antifa people, they're like complaining that they can't do what they want because it's easier to report them now. So it's like they're saying that like they can't give out any dox information anymore. So I don't know. Like, so I guess, but even like all those screenshots of like like Amarnites, like with the chainsaw memes, like can't do that anymore. Is that what?
I don't know. I mean, we'll find out, I guess, in these coming weeks. I mean, like this is the issue. Is that what does that illustrate? Is that this is state sanctioned? Like
So I guess Elon cracked under pressure, maybe. I don't know.
Well, all it took was having a bizarre meeting in the Middle East with Jared Kushner.
But I feel like all these decisions, they get reversed in time. Like I don't, like for example, when you couldn't put Linktree in your bio, like that got reversed overnight. Like that, like I don't know, he just does these harebrained things and then like just doesn't work out.
We'll see. We'll see
what happens. But so I guess you can't share like hang jack memes anymore.
You can't ACK post.
Can't ACK post. Not that I would, but
Oh well, I've done it on this show, so
yeah, but but that's different.
You better.
No. I mean, like, I kind of like certain things I don't like because I know like it's gonna attract negative attention. So it's like, I don't know. Those act like, I mean, I shouldn't say anything. But anyways, this one line, we'll get back to the digital ruins thing, but this one line by Tim Miller, I'm assuming he's got a husband, right? So
yes.
Or to put it more succinctly, Joe Kent is a grown-ass man who let a racist brat browbeat him into admitting on video that he does, in fact, share their white nationalist ideology, but that he doesn't think it's a good campaign strategy to say it out loud. And this is the best part. Humiliating, shameful, and not very based at all. That's incredible. You mean to tell me that racism isn't? Yeah, exactly. It's like talking. It's like he's not even talking about Joe Kent. He's like talking about Patrick Little. Like it's like this is literally Joe Kent. Like you can't get more of like a normie boomer friendly candidate than Joe Kent. Like it's, you know what I mean? Like it's Joe Kent. What are you talking about? Like it's
the engine of what I just heard.
I love like this line really is the best. Humiliating, shameful, and not very based at all.
Do better.
Do better.
It's not our job to educate you.
It's not our job to. I love how DC Perspective like broke this guy's brain. He was like a top Republican guy. Then Trump came in and just destroyed his career. And then DC Perspective just like basically like picked through the carry-on in his mind. It's just like
unbelievable.
Wait, let me put my cam on for this. Do the work.
Oh.
All right. Do you want to cover the Second Life one?
Do better. Yes,
do
I
better.
do. Let me go share it. 'Cause Second Life is just its own interesting little thing here, and
I wrote a pretty popular article on urban exploration back in the day on Thermidor that I believe Brothers of Decay or what's that other one? I'll look it up. The urban exploration one. They go into factories and stuff. They actually retweeted my article. Oh God, what are they called? Let me look it up on my YouTube here. But anyways, yeah, let's what are they called? I can't believe I forgot their name. Not Bright Sun Films. That guy's a Leaf. He's a Leaf.
is he?
Bright Sun Films, yeah, he's grew up in Toronto. Proper People, yeah, Proper People retweeted my article back in the day.
All right.
Yeah. Although they didn't know they were retweeting a far-right fascist, but that's a far-right fat fascist, according to M. Crumbs. You know?
One day when you visit New York.
I need to be like Ethan Sipley in like American History X.
Oh Lord.
He follows me on Twitter. Hey, Ethan Sipley. Yeah.
Well done. So yeah, this is
seen the glory of the trampling of this. No.
That's not.
That'll get demonetized. That'll get a channel strike.
Yeah, great. Well, it survived yesterday or the State of the Union coverage, so we can survive this.
Yeah.
Yeah, griefing.
So speaking of dead websites.
Yeah, Second Life is a great example.
I meant Dig, but yeah.
Yeah, Dig is also dead. Thanks, Reddit, right? But apparently Dig is still around.
Yeah.
Which kind of kills me because I don't know who the hell it's for,
It's for, I think a bunch of Gen X are still
Well, now it's just a sort of a website where it's not really like the Reddit style that it once was. So yeah, this is a little.
Remember E-Bombs World?
Yes.
Oh, like how people were beefing on him because he would like steal content.
Oh, what a good time,
man! E-Bombs World. So much time wasted instead of doing my homework. So much time wasted. Newgrounds.
I just went there today and looked at it, and videos, galleries, newest popular articles, gaming, more search function. TikToker claims that they're the reincarnation of a certain Austrian painter with a nose ring to match it.
Oh, I saw that.
Interesting stuff. Glad to know this is what remains of my early online life. Remember I used to read
Cracked articles. Yeah, I used to read Cracked articles back when Cracked was still good before Trump broke their brain. Speaking of Trump breaking people's brains, yeah, man, we all read the same Cracked articles back in the day.
Second Life. So obviously this is a little older. One, it's from Dig. Two, it's about Second Life, and this is 2018 AD. Okay. But it exists, sort of. Residents and businesses began fleeing for more popular social networks long ago. Vast acres of land are abandoned or sparsely populated by the few remaining die-hard users. Its developer's VR follow-up, Sansar, is currently in beta. Property values are dropping. It's becoming a digital ghost town. Which is why I was visiting. Disaster tourism of dying software. I first warped to a boardwalk at Float Sam Beach, an idealized digital facsimile of Atlantic City without the syringe tide. It was deserted, but remains in pristine condition. Digital worlds don't typically rot or become overgrown with foliage, after all.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, they exist for a time, and then someone shuts them down. Right now, Second Life resembles a city swiftly evacuated following a radioactive threat.
Whoa. No, but the idea that okay, let me put on my serious hat now instead.
He's gotta put on his thinking fez.
Yeah, the serious fez. You know the Coulson meme where it's like serious hat. Man, remember Homestar Runner? Yeah.
Sure do.
Oh man, Homestar Runner. But I feel like the idea of digital ruins is fascinating because not only do they provide you a anthropology of memories, because I feel like there's a direct engagement with people that did inhabit these spaces and people that are going back to them and living up the memories. Whereas largely with urban exploration, they're factories from the 70s, before total offshoring, terminal American offshoring hit. They're really old ruins. Like I remember the one Dan Bell one where he like he would like explored this like crappy apartment from the 20s. Like these are places that have a greater cultural memory, but they don't have the interpersonal memory that the internet ruins do. But the fact that they don't decay, like Worlds Online, where there's like, that super spooky Nextpo video where there's like a cult in worlds.com, and it's like you have to use a server to like access it. Like apart from the ephemera of trying to like generate online Reddit like super scary dark web content, there is like a sort of nostalgia. It's not just nostalgia mining. I mean, it is nostalgia mining, but there's something to say about the fact that these ruins, they in a way don't reflect the world we see around us, but they kind of do. It's almost like this decay is more of like a mental palliative than like exploring like the ruins of major American cities that have long been offshored, that are filled with like opiate zombies and crime and decay. These ruins are very much like timepieces. They're all, you know what I would say they're kind of like, because they have so many elements to it. They're kind of like Joseph Carroll's memory boxes. Joseph Carell, the American artist, right? Like he made these memory boxes from like, he basically found, like he took European found object art and he like imported it to America, right? So, and he was like an OG, like incel neat. And he would like create these memory boxes and they became like very big. So, yeah, so it's almost like a memory box in that it's an element of like abandonment that is frozen in time, whereas most ruins in real life are subject to nothing but time. So it's really it's sort of like outside of time completely. It's unless someone like destroys the servers, right? They close them. These places are largely outside of the machinations of time itself, and so they're different than the decaying ruins of like most urban spaces or even like rural spaces. There's a lot of urbex YouTubers that go to like abandoned farmhouses and things of that nature, where you see like the memories of people that are being swallowed whole by the decay of the elements, right? So it's different here in this regard.
And this is, I think, an interesting thing that people are doing. Like, I know that Cunley Drupka on Twitter, great satirist, great shit poster.
His recent thread on was insane, yeah.
But he had one where it was about VR, and it was like high trust society simulator, where like you can escape digitally through VR. And I can't help but think about this: is that if someone wanted to be, I guess, edgy, or if someone wanted to have a retreat, go to the places where the servers are still online, or go to Second Life, or go to some abandoned MMO, and like, oh, this is the far right meetup.
Yeah, I wonder if the far right can conquer Second Life. I wonder if that's a possibility. Probably not, but like, I know there's like a lot of furries and people like that in Second Life, but no, I wonder.
I gotta go.
Yeah,
but the article continues. I wandered around. Reggae music played for no one. Lights from a dance club flashed before an abandoned dance floor. Empty stores sold unwanted goods that would never collect dust. I flew to the top of a big slide. There was no line, and went down. A little girl suddenly appeared on the boardwalk. She was holding a fishing rod, two strangers meeting in a void. I typed a message. Hi. A minute later, she responded, why are you messaging me? I left the area.
Whoa.
I guess no one wants to talk, I guess, in this digital end of the world. Second Life is a 3D, massively multiplayer open world game. It's run by a software company called Linden Lab. The company was founded by entrepreneur and former Real Network CTO Philip Rosedale, who was inspired to create a virtual world after a trip to Burning Man.
Oh, of course.
Is this the Dark Elves that we're talking about here, fellas?
Yeah. Okay. I wonder if Moldbug was on Second Life.
I bet you he was.
Man.
Early investors of the company included Jeff Bezos and Pierre Omidyar.
Yeah, Second Life was really big back in the day. Like it was like universities and everything like set up
exactly the same way. Second Life launched into the public in summer of 2003, only 3 months after the start of the Iraq War. Roughly 3 years later, it reached 1 million users, impressive for a social network at the time. Magazines and blogs wrote glowing coverage of it, universities built campuses in it, brands built outposts. It became the nexus of some pretty impressive net art. It even got a shout out from The Office, local ad, 2007. Video's private now. The limitless freedom attracted furries, government spies, sex freaks, and disturbingly, those types of people. Sometimes made it difficult to keep servers alive. A friend once told me the following anecdote at a party, maybe apocryphal, that possibly a typical second, SV lore, totally unforgettable. His acquaintance, an engineer at Linden Lab, had to deal with a series of mysterious server crashes. Upon further investigation, he had found a single user who made a 3D model of a dick that was so massive and detailed that it was straight up melting servers. After capping the size/details of the models, he became disillusioned with the nature of his gig and quit.
Whoa.
I haven't been able to confirm any of this, but given how many mods there are like this for Morrowind and other games, I'm not surprised in the slightest.
Didn't a certain personality on the political left get he got canceled for having a let's call it an RP mod of a video game?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
There was one bit in here that made me laugh. I'm trying to see if I can find it. Here it is.
It may have been what's the Marxist guy. He lives fairly close to me. He lives in the Falls. Jason Unruh. It may have been Jason Unruh. I forget.
After that encounter on the boardwalk with the creepy ghost girl, I decided to find the old John Edwards Second Life headquarters. It was created in 2007 to promote the former senator's presidential campaign. This was before he lost the primary, and it was revealed he had an ongoing affair while his wife was dying. Oh, that was a fun time. Remember the 2008 election was wild. The headquarters was located in the Laguna Beach area, a section built by MTV. After their first attempt to create MySpace 2.0 largely failed. In February of 2007, it received mainstream media attention after it was vandalized. According to a blog post on the Edwards campaign website, quote, a group of Republican Second Life users were sporting some Bush 08 tags, vandalized the John Edwards Second Life.
There were right-wing people.
Yeah. They plastered the area with Marxist-Leninist posters and slogans, a feces-spewing obscenity, and a Photoshop picture of John in blackface, all the while harassing visitors with right-wing nonsense and obscenity-laden abuse of Democrats in general and John in particular.
Beast.
I witnessed the events, taking names and photos, including the owners of the pictures. I also kept a saved copy of the chat log. I have filed an abuse report with Linden Labs and awaiting their investigation.
Like, you could raid different group. You could that's incredible, because it's like you could raid different groups in Second Life. I feel bad that it's dying right now, because imagine doing this now. Imagine a Twitter beef, but on Second Life with your avatar,
and all your followers showed up with you to back you up.
Yeah, the Geocell
it'd be a real dick measuring contest now. It's like, I got all my followers here. I got more followers than you, ready to beef with you.
All the heavy hitters come to back you up.
Yeah.
Man, that's crazy.
Oh, it all sounds if all of this sounds vaguely familiar to how the elements of the 2016 election played out online, well, yeah, the internet has always been the internet. I couldn't find the Edwards HQ or Laguna Beach. Nothing showed up in the game's search engine. I tried asking around. I visited an 80s themed nightclub and asked if anyone knew where Laguna Beach was. I was immediately warped to a dance podium where I started dancing against my will.
Whoa.
I warped to another nude beach. I was greeted by a sign explicitly stating that no.
Second Life is wild, man. It's all those 40, 50-year-old shut-ins that are still on there. They have these weird taboos around how to interact with each other.
Yeah. The user a user going by the name of Karina finally was willing to help out. The whole Laguna Beach area had been deleted, she explained. The John Edwards campaign headquarters was gone.
Oh no.
That stuff should be preserved to some extent,
You could probably find photos of it.
Oh, I'm sure, right? Geocell invasion, right? It'd be great. Invasion. Virtual turf wars.
Oh man, that'd be amazing.
Very. Could you imagine, we're going to go to some TP USA event on Second Life, and just a bunch of guys in green, Second Life characters are going to groip Charlie Kirk.
Gripper Wars, but in Second Life.
Pools closed, but for TP USA events,
George Santos campaign headquarters. Pools closed.
Pools closed.
Oh man. There are 800,000 active users. Where are they? I reached out to a number of prominent Second Life residents and Shay Chang the first virtual millionaire who landed the cover of Business Week in 2006. Esteban Winmore, a notorious griefer whose video series of polite Second Life trolling has culminatively received over 1 million. I think I've seen this guy.
Yeah.
I've seen some of those videos. Yeah. Cristano Midnight, an early resident who creeped Snapzilla, a server that allows users to share screenshots. Crap Mariner, a popular erotic Second Life photographer. I think I've also seen some of those photos. La Turbo. It was actually, I think the Crap Mariner was featured on a IM 1776 article about like the early internet.
Yeah, he is.
La Turbo, Avedon, an avatar, and artist. Everyone ignored my emails except for Crap Mariner, who replied via Facebook message. I'm not really the tour guide type. I don't do interviews. Yeah, these people are so cagey. You really couldn't get like good content. I feel like there was like a lot of griefers, like a lot of people that would like troll them. They would like screen capture. And so like they would like troll these people on Second Life. And I feel like a lot of those people that are like the dedicated user base, they're sort of like very cagey for a reason, because it's like they know that they could like easily become lolcows. And so it's like, I kept exploring on my own. Second Life is helpful internal guide called Destinations, a kind of Twitter moments that suggest places to go, organized into categories like newcomer friendly, editors picks. Throughout this section, I wrapped the suggestion of Gems Island of Fractals. It's a massive art installation resembling a crystal city built by artist Gem Prees. Walking through it feels like a deleted scene from Blade Runner 2049. It's pretty and lonely. Maybe I should just bite the bullet and go to Second Life. I should do this. You know what I mean? Like I've been thinking about it for years.
I think it's too late. I mean, it's not too late. I'm sure it's still available, but what would you do other than just be like a scene where you're the last man on Earth, but it's in Second Life, but the glasses are broken, so you can't read.
Yeah, it's not fair. It's not fair. It took about 1 week of playing Second Life to get a 30-minute video's worth of unusable footage, very low time/reward ratio. Oh man. What did you try to do there? Did you try to talk to people?
Yeah, what was the purpose? Were you just making a video? Were you doing tourism? Were you trying to find people?
Man, they say VR chat's good though.
I've seen some people do it. Like there's his name's like Japanese Bush Baby, and he does like he does voice impressions, and he does a really good G-Man impression. And I know that he'll go around in VR chat and just play as G-Man from the Half-Life series, and it's pretty damn entertaining.
Man.
So I guess it's fun, but that would require you to own a VR setup and the internet connection and to do it. Same people who do VTubing stuff. Like that's a huge investment.
That's what I mean. Yeah, it's too much investment. I feel like Second Life you could still
it's still accessible.
Record Deepness says to get into Second Life is kind of like at the start of Point Break, where Keanu has to learn surfing. Only he's surfing this time. Yeah, true. It would be interesting to see like what I guess YouTubers still do like Second Life videos, but the Digital Archipelago live from Second Life.
Oh, well, that's good to know. Okay, you don't need VR to play VR chat. You can just use a regular monitor. Okay.
Oh, wow. Cool. Nice.
Hello, Mr. Casey. Greatly happy to see the man who owns the Restoring Order chat in here. Although he did go off this week. He decided to go out and tweet out that he is a queer woman married to, somebody special. We're happy and we're supportive of Mr. Casey's efforts on Restoring Order. Yeah. It's a good time.
Patrick Casey restoring that pussy. That's too good.
Clip that and send it to him. No, it's free on Steam. Well, that's good to know.
Nice.
Well, maybe one of these days we should do it and just go on Digital Archipelago and like interview random people in VR chat.
That could be something. We could, that actually could be. I mean, I would have to get a Steam account, but like that
well, if it's free, it wouldn't be too much of a problem. Just set up an account and download that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Then it goes on to about Dan Bell. I had a beef with Dan Bell on Twitter one time. This is a few years ago.
Really?
Yeah, he called me an incel.
Oh.
I felt bad because I actually do like Dan Bell's work. But he's like one of these like, I don't know, like, like one of these Gen X like Chapo Trap House Leftoids. Like, I don't know. It's a vibe, you know. He was trying to like psychologize me too. It was really funny.
Play a pirate board game. Not sure what you're referring to, but with the
teen romance, living and dying in the sugar dough era outside of Cinnabons, but one feels sort of depressed by their precariousness. Even corporate controlled environments that once seemed invincible can become ruins. Yeah, that's very true. I mean, it's the Dead Mall series, like it does expose like sort of a weird nostalgia for corporate Americana of an older generation that is kind of, it's very interesting how much like America becomes a non-place, North America in general, but yet when they become ruins, they have a weird significance. It's almost as if becoming an abandoned place frees these entities of being non-places. Like that one mall that got demolished that everyone went to because it had like the fountain in the middle. I think it was Rolling Acres Mall. It becomes like a weird sort of exchange where they're freed from the non-place that is utility, but only in their death are they freed by utility. So it's very weird to see a lot of these like urbex videos. Like there was a time where I was like addicted to these videos. I still like, I'm trying to get back into it. But anyways, yeah.
Well, that's what I find so interesting about Second Life, but not just Second Life itself, because I mean, this is a dead digital space. Yeah. It exists and it's perfectly preserved in time. And in the same way, these digital wastelands will eventually become time capsules of people's lives. Mm-hmm. I think about all the people that have died since social media has been created, how many memorial pages there are on Facebook, or how many in memoriam pages there are for people who are on Twitter. And that people's Twitter accounts are now perfectly sort of preserved in the era and the lifespan that they were on this place as a way to express themselves. And I mean, a really good example of this that I find really interesting is that like Norm Macdonald's Twitter is still on. Oh, yeah. And you can go through all of his tweets, all of his interactions, and see how he thinks. And in that way, it's like it's a digital graveyard, but in a way in which I can still see them live. And it's very eerie in the fact that these men are dead, but yet they're on platforms that make it seem like they're still walking and they're still around. And it's just really, that was another thing that I wanted to talk about with this sort of topic, was this, that you're going to have a really cool accumulated record of everyone's thoughts, everyone's positions, their cringe, or tweets that they wish they could have deleted, or things that they wish they didn't say.
The coal that they posted.
The coal that they posted, the cringe that they made, the times they were ratioed. It was the best of tweets. It was the worst of tweets. And they're now gathered today to celebrate the account and the life of a poster, whoever. And like I've said many times before, it's always funny because like when someone gets banned on Twitter, we act like they're dead. But like there are actual dead people on Twitter. Yeah. And there are actual like the whole social media lives of things like that. It's just very strange that, if I die, please delete all the cringe I've ever posted, and so as the bourgeois beatniks, as I've said before, the flesh becomes word now. Yeah, there is an inversion to that, to where once we die, all that is left are the words that we have said and have done. I mean, there's no resurrection, there's no ascension for us. There's only some kind of digital necromancy of people using ChatGPT to bring back dead girlfriends, or using Dan to, the do anything now bit out of the most recent ChatGPT bit to sort of try and communicate with people of the dead, like certain World War II characters, or to try and, I guess, do a seance for the dead through those sort of things. And
that's like how John David Ebert used a medium to contact Schopenhauer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so, like, all of a sudden, if you're, leave nothing, exactly, internet friend. You probably should.
If your accounts are suspended, you have to remember to routinely delete some of your old tweets. Leave nothing. I routinely delete older tweets, but like a lot of them are just like embarrassing coal, or like they're just like stupid, or but it is like, I feel like your words are like preserved. Oddly enough, I remember this video when he was still on YouTube. I think it was Gavin McGinnis that said, he's like, when I die, my kids, there's like hundreds of hours of me on the internet. They could like just experience my thoughts and my works online. And it's like, I live on the internet. Of course, like this was before his whole YouTube channel was nuked, but
Yeah.
but still, he's correct though. It is interesting to see how your thoughts and your feelings on particular days of the week or like particular times that you tweeted or posted something or went in a live stream, that those are sort of like the memories, and even when you go back to them, it's like it is really weird, like seeing, like, for example, YouTubers that have been around forever that are still like on. It's like how they changed over the years. It's like there is something about memory that becomes personified by the ability of like digital archives to capture your words and your thoughts and what you were doing. Like, but then sometimes these things are lost. Like sometimes there's spaces or live streams or articles that are just deleted and gone forever, and there's no archive of them. And it becomes like this sort of mythologizing of it. You know what I mean? Like there's sort of like when there's a lack of an archive, then that becomes a sort of thing in itself. And it's very interesting. So,
and the thing is that we're going to have a really long sort of record. I mean, this was sort of the essay by Morgoth at the end of last year in December was like the year the internet stopped laughing, because it was sort of this really nice farewell, homage, Godspeed to Medicare.
mm-hmm.
And it's just like, well, we talk about Clown World, we talk about everything else, but it's weird when someone that we've kind of known for a while intermittently as an online persona and personality to die. You do have a record of all this, and sort of he's just very casually explaining what it is. We don't know who he is. He's one of the last true Anons in that regard, and he's gone, or he will be gone, unless he makes a miraculous recovery, and I pray for him. But that'll be interesting when you do have a record and you do have, I mean, internet friends got a scary aspect of that. Your NFT will outlive you.
Whoa.
Your online imagery, this stupid frog profile picture will probably outlive me in some respects, even if I retire from doing online content.
Shrek Fedora will outlive me.
Yeah. And so those things are out there, and those stupid Bored Ape NFTs. I mean, technically, they'll probably outlive anybody if the digital stuff keeps going.
This was at the end of the girls' last tour, by the way. Like the digital records of everybody, that lived. Yeah. No, but I mean, with Medicare, he's not dead yet. So that's the whole like. I wonder if we can think about digital social spaces in the same way. Many of these were popular in the 90s, early 2000s, are now a vaporwave. The companies went bankrupt and were purchased and mismanaged to death. Users fled, communities were destroyed, data was liquidated. We should be concerned that a majority of our online spaces are owned by corporations. Again, this is like, classic Humdog predicting this. Who also, I believe, still has her memoriam. I forget what they call that plot of land, the Linden Labs call it in Second Life. I believe it's still around.
Wow.
Yeah. Corporations do not have our best interest in mind, despite fuzzy PR statements like about building communities. Our digital spaces can suddenly be destroyed or altered in disturbing ways without our consent. Why don't we have control over them? Why can't we? Always remember, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter are malls, not parks. See? The map is not the territory, blah, blah, blah. Like it's true. They're non-places. We forget that. We exist. I think, what's crazy is that I feel like this is why I have an aversion to like communism, because I think like shared communal spaces, there's something kind of like not like copacetic about them. There's something like when you like live in a community center, right? Like homeless people, or like say all of life becomes living in like one of those pod apartment community centers. And you know what I mean? Like imagine all of life being like that. We like to think, because we like to customize our online experience, that it's not like living in a community center. It's not like living in a government building non-place, but they are. They're like, they are non-places. They're like malls. We don't own those spaces. You know what I'm trying to get at? Like the aesthetics of a non-place, the aesthetic of living in a government issue, like mass group home or whatever. That's kind of like what Twitter and Facebook and Instagram are.
Yeah,
and
I mean, they are the Soviet block style apartments.
Yeah.
Everyone's in the same thing. Everyone's there at the same time, and they're easily accessible by the NKVD when necessary.
Exactly. And you can customize them all you want, but you still have open door policy. Like you can still be spied on. You could still, you know what I mean? Yeah, exactly. 100%. It's like Soviet brutalist apartments. They're not truly yours to own. They're not truly, you know what I mean? Like that's why I feel like that idea is so alien to someone like, I feel like it's so alien to a lot of people because you don't really have that dwelling. It lacks that sense of dwelling in that it is truly yours. But not only is it yours, but it's not just what you possess, but also what you've created within it. You can hear your neighbors above and below. Yeah, the walls are paper thin.
Yeah, the walls are paper thin. There's, you technically have a door and 4 walls, but what really is the point?
Yeah.
You can hear everything. They can come into you. They can knock on your door, burst you down. And that's the funny thing about all of these spaces, as well as those that have lived and died on them, is that one day maybe they will, get rid of old accounts, and maybe they will have, I guess, those usernames open up again.
Yeah, I know Musk wanted to do that, but then people were like, no, you can't. There's just so many dead people that have accounts. After exploring Second Life with my partner, I got an email from moderator passing on the news. The creator of one of the areas we visited, the Ivory Tower Library, has passed away. His name was Lumiere Noir. There would be a gathering in Second Life to celebrate his life. A memorial shrine was built for him. I missed the gathering, but logged in to check on the shrine. It was located outside the main entrance of the library he built so that the users could learn how he built stuff, how to build stuff. The memorial was made up of in-game photos of him, and trinkets users had submitted. As I took in the memorial, I suddenly realized that my avatar, a giant eyeball with a big demo dick, might not be appropriate for such a somber occasion. Wow. But this was Second Life. Others seemed to like it. A big eye with a penis. One user chatted, such a powerful mix. Wow. Very Freudian. At some point, Linen Lab will meet one of the many dire but inevitable fates of most companies. Second Life will disappear. The new beach will, the vast forests, the demo dicks, the memorials for those who devoted time to build and maintain it will all crumble apart into digital blackness. The people will go elsewhere. Wow. That's powerful. But this is terrible, though. I mean, it's like, but it's like real life as well. All things come to pass, Tempus fugit,
Yeah.
So
I mean, time comes to pass. We all die. I mean, those are the inevitable things about it. And I mean, even if you do recreate someone with Chat GPT or machine learning where everything is compiled and you can do it, all of a sudden, then what? Perhaps
it's like what John D said.
Well, it's like that server will go away, or that platform or Second Life will disappear. Those memorials will disappear. Did you screenshot it? Did you press print screen? Did you use the snipping tool? No, it'll go. And then even what does it say about the human experience and the human life today, that our entirety of our interests and our passions and things that we mourn are things that exist in a simulation of our own real world?
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, though, it's a simulation, but also it's predicated on the idea that the internet is like there forever and it doesn't like go away. But no, things do go away. Like things aren't archived. Things are lost all the time. And it's weird because the internet, it mimics the real in that sense of things going away. But at the same time, we have the illusion that they don't, that servers never decay, that information is infinite and that it's there forever. But we know that's not true. And so in a way, it's sort of like, as the internet provides us, like this is what Byung-Chul Han said, it gives us a capacity for externalized memory. But that externalized memory also can decay and also is subject to change. For example, like, people like the Chat GPT thing. I know, for example, John D, he said this. I believe he said this with you, Prude, when you were on UO yesterday. Was it UO or was it Cigar Stream?
Maybe it has to be UO. Mr. D's never been on Cigar Stream.
He has never been on Cigar Streams?
Not that I recall.
Well, it was you and Eugipius.
Oh, then it has to. Yeah, it was Unpopular Opinions.
Unpopular opinion. Yeah. So, where he said like he refuses to engage with anyone who talks about this GPT shit because he's like, basically, you could tell it doesn't have a soul and there's something missing there, and it's like you can't. Like, first of all, how do you access to talk to this GPT thing? How do you do it?
I mean, someone's got. I mean, there's various forms and people that do it that have access to it. I mean, right now it seems to be through Discord, right? And when you and that's the thing about all of this, though, right? Is there is no soul to it, but people will attach value to all of it. There's the Chat AGP as well. You have to make an account also on that. And I mean, that's the fun thing that I find about all of this stuff is that there's a soul to it, but at the same time, there's I guess it'll be sold in the same way that all other types of things are sold, where it's democratized, right? Everyone's emancipated. Everyone can create an account with like chat.openai, and all of a sudden we're going to be out and about watching our worlds be made and fall and crumble, and with weird human looking hands that aren't quite human. And in doing so, I mean, you would have to maintain your own server at some point.
Yeah.
You know, at some point you'll have to maintain all of that kind of infrastructure to maintain your own little empire. And I know Spasticus Autisticus just sent a bit from the Ozymandias poem, which I'll read when we get to it. But I mean, that's what I think is so interesting about these digital wastelands is that, for old MMOs, right, can you still access some of these places? We can still access, Second Life, but are there parts of Neverwinter Nights that I can still access in 2023? I don't know. And I think that it'll be funny that now in this age of dead internet theory, where it is filled with both the quick and the dead, but the quick are just automatons, that all of a sudden they have opportunities to be voices. And that eventually at one point in time, there will be more bots, there will be more machine learning programs on the internet to entertain you. There will be no real way to curate it because now these algorithms have a way for you to interact with it to a point of simulation. And all of that means now is that the digital wasteland will be like a very real zombie apocalypse. People like Geo, people like myself will one day go out and about into the internet and realize that there are more dead and more zombie-like synthetic creatures out there than there are actual humans. And perhaps in some form or fashion, it really will be the N-word and all other forms of racism and transgression that gets you there. But one day I'm sure they'll learn to mimic that. So who knows?
Well, it's kind of like what Verse said on Content Minded. By the way, go to my channel where Verse Loon episode came out where he talked about that, about like it's kind of like red shifting, how things will just be so spread apart that eventually you won't see, like, you'll still see people, but it'll be like a wasteland. It'll be, and so like Internet Friend has a good quote here. ChatGPT actually threatens the solemnity and finality of digital wastelands. Automated humans can't die. It'll be a graveyard with automatronic zombies walking around forever. No moment of silence. Wow. No moment of silence. Sort of like that dialogue from Oz that I covered in, I believe it was it was in the free version of one of the psychopolitics episodes, where it's sort of like there's so much noise that maybe the heavens above just refuses to hear us anymore because there's so many like noise out in the airwaves by the internet that we would just disappear into the nothingness of that infinite cacophony of voices. And it's like, who knows, right? Like, that's a very poetic thought that you can essentially, by the mass production of information, create a wasteland that is nothing but a void. It's a singularity, in other words. So that's a very interesting idea. Like, so yeah, I'm not quite sure I fully understand what you mean by this. Would you like to set up a Zoom call and potentially connect me for a friendly exchange of ideas? Yeah, Internet Friend. I mean, maybe you'll come on the show one day. So
I mean, this would be an interesting way to also determine if bot or human.
True. Maybe next episode we'll send him
send
him a link. Yeah, we'll send him the link. Yeah.
Determine if our audience viewers are bots or otherwise. Like, we'll have it. We should do a call-in episode one of these days.
Yeah, I remember one time Lev fucked up and he sent the he sent the link to someone, and then like spread it around in a Discord, and it's like all of a sudden you had like these random people just popping up. But maybe we'll do that. We'll have a call-in show. I know Jay Burden thought about doing a call-in.
Yeah, he has a public Telegram that he uses for the call-in show to set up.
Like, imagine if you tried it and like just all of a sudden like you accept the call and like one kind of like Ghost like with Radio Graffiti, but like once like someone just comes on, the first thing you do is just like scream at the top of their lungs, like you know the word, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it was like Patrick Casey's little Friday hangout stream. Because he didn't vet the video, and the first thing that dropped was that word.
Oh my god.
Yeah, it was pretty
That's
funny.
amazing.
Yeah, I gotta vet all the viewers for synths. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
Yeah, post hands to prove existence. That's what we have to do, Gio. We gotta post our hands to prove that we're human.
Yeah, there you go.
Human,
Yeah.
But that tends to be life, I guess. In this regard, are you going to create a digital afterlife for these people? Will you? I mean, these are all the things that we try to do, I think, in this escape from the perennial questions, the eternal questions of things that, because we like intelligent, and, a lot of sort of people that deride new atheists will be, post, like simulation or intelligent design theories and things like that. They're just ways to sort of create an explanation for God without God. And in the same way that I think we'll probably do the same thing on these digital spaces, is to create ways and means to live on afterwards. It's funny because there is, I was listening to I'll out myself here. I like to listen to Father Josiah Trenum's reflections, and he has these little Tech Tuesday ones, and he was talking about, let me see if I can get the name right. Yeah.
By the way, I'm going to send you something.
Oh, go for it.
That you can put on air. It's by your good friend Piffy.
So it was the founder of, Sirius XM Radio, Martin Rothblatt, now Martine Rothblatt. And they focus on, therapeutics, and tries to make, this individual is so concerned about the death of their spouse, Bina, and their children, that they want to live forever. They want to do everything that they can at United Therapeutics to just live
like occurs while like what do they call? I know Atrocity Guide had a video on the cryogenics people.
The Immortalists.
The Immortalists, yeah.
Which is a great, if you haven't seen that documentary, it's like an hour and a half long. It's like 80 minutes long. Go watch it. It's really good. But yeah, they have this thing called like the Terrasim movement, this sort of bit about transhumanism, promoting joy, diversity, and the prospect of technological immortality via mind uploading and geoethical nanotechnology.
Geoethical.
The movement maintains, and here's the fun part, they maintain an island on Second Life.
Whoa!
Which helps contribute to their bit there, and they're a big advocate for digital immortalization. And okay.
We need to raid this place on Second
Life. Okay. They're okay, cool. I didn't know that Piff had unlocked.
Yeah. You're gonna post on screen.
Let me go. Sure, why the hell not? We can do that. I can.
This is the first time I'm reading. I just saw what he posted. He apparently texted someone who's a fan of mine.
Yeah, I'll share this because this is funny actually. So I had to check and read through it to make sure that there wasn't anything that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No weird slurs or anything that would get me in trouble on screen. Okay. Share screen. I'll share this weird Twitter thread here. So yeah. There's image 1.
Boston starts playing in the background. You dare enter my domain? Your feeble training has not prepared you to face the full might of my wizardry powers. No! Have mercy on me, Master Geo! Ooh. Geo attacks you with a Prolox Theory Cell Word Salad. It's super effective. You lose 50 HP and regain your virginity. Oh my god. Go and follow our good friend Piffy on Twitter. Is that the only one?
No.
I attack him with my most powerful move, but he just absorbs it like Manjibu and DBZ. You play trap card, a picture of the Red Scare pod girls, or literally any e-girl. Geo starts sweating, stammering, simping. He loses his train of thought and is dazed. Oh boy.
That's how you know you have a fan base.
That's true. I've finally achieved the level of having a fan base. But you know what? Actually, I might announce something, but I have to work out the details. But I may have gotten a small book deal for the audience. So hopefully by next year, you will be able to buy, finally, a book on art criticism mostly about neoliberal kitsch. But I'm trying to work out a deal with the guy. And there you go. That's big major announcement. So, and also, yeah, War Report Podcast just had a new episode that came out recently today. After, so yeah, looking forward to it. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna encourage me to write more, so it's gonna be good. Yeah.
All right. Well, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, apparently, while the show was going on, Spasticus Autisticus is saying Reddit got hacked during the show after a phishing attack.
Really?
Apparently, Reddit got hit by something.
Thank God.
Oh. Let it die. Let it end.
Twitter cells stay winning. Well, not for very long, but you know,
tweet
I shouldn't
cells.
be. Tweet cells. I shouldn't be bragging, considering if the rumors are true, it's done.
Yeah, if Twitter dies, then I mean,
what are we gonna
thank
do?
God for other places. We'll just be back on Substack.
I don't want
apparently
Twitter.
they had a security incident. Okay,
Whoa!
let's go check it out.
Listen, I mean, everyone on Reddit should have their hard drives checked, if you know what I mean.
Absolutely. TLDR, a hacker broke into a few of Reddit's systems and managed to access some of our user data, including current email addresses and a 2007 database backup containing old salted and hashed passwords. Since then, we've been conducting a painstaking investigation to figure out what was accessed and to improve our systems and what was happening again. So apparently, that's happened a while ago. What do you mean? This is from years ago, but they've been hacked by phishing scams. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I thought this happened now, not like 5 years ago. But good Lord, that's why you never link your email or set up a password to it. But the floods of Redditors, I mean,
yeah,
ugh.
Be terrible.
It would be terrible.
Well, Elon is Reddit maxing Twitter right now, so.
Well, I can't wait until we have like a, like the Chinese AI replica girlfriend thing. Oh, They just announced another phishing scam that happened today on the 5th. Oh, well, that's even funnier.
Nice.
That's
how my Instagram got hacked.
Was phishing?
Yeah, because I thought it was a friend in real life.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
All right. Well, shall we get to the super chats?
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's time to turn on the sneed mode for you to sneed them.
There you go.
And let's go check them out. We gotta get one.
That's why I don't want Twitter to die, because, I mean, being stuck on Telegram would be terrible.
Yeah, I would. Telegram is great for you to like get out your thoughts in like a microblogging form, more than like 280 characters. But I also don't like it because it stops me from writing. This is also my issue with like me doing phishing videos. Is I love doing them. I love the real talks because it's a great way to put out content. But at the same time, it's like I could probably spend some time and flesh those out into essays.
Yeah, it's sort of like shorts now on YouTube, where it's like it prevents you from like doing like the meat of your content, but like you like put out little snippets of it. I feel like Telegram's like that. For example, when I was trudging my way through the recent Necropolitics Gen reviews, I like literally fired off like 4 different Telegram rants that I eventually will like have like a semi-monthly archive on my Substack. But like, it's, you know what I mean? Like it's it's like you're doing content to prevent you from doing other content. So
yeah.
Yeah.
And that's my problem is that there are times where I feel like, I'm just putting it off to not do anything else. But I'm going to change my my profile picture because I have to inform everyone that the West has fallen. Because Chick-fil-A has decided to go forward with trying plant-based sandwiches. So I have terrible news, and I must report it. And I even used the "Billions Must Die" meme today. But yes, I regret to inform people that Chick-fil-A has indeed fallen.
We need a prude Chud Jack.
I've got plenty of prude jacks. Thank you very much. Today, Chick-fil-A announced the test A one-of-a-kind plant forward. Plant forward. I hate this new language. What is this? Plant forward. Entree.
Oh, it's just cauliflower?
Yeah.
That's all right. I've had fried cauliflower before.
That's fine, but...
It's all right. It doesn't... It's not gonna
I love
like
this. I love this. They turned off the replies. I love it.
How many quote tweets are there?
574, 414 likes.
Oh my god. That's a good heavens. Look at the ratio.
Good heavens. Look at that ratio.
That Unheard article got like 500 quote tweets.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
yeah.
Perry cells stay winning.
Exactly. Perry Chads. Tink cells stay losing. No, but if it's just cauliflower, I don't see a problem with that. Like cauliflower is all right. It's a pretty good substitute if you want something like fried, but you don't want to feel like too guilty about it. But anyways, moving on.
Yeah, that kind of cauliflower fried is fine. I've had it. But still, it's a step in the direction I don't want them to go to.
Yeah, it's a step in the Beyond Meat direction.
Yeah.
Look at this frog here. Like, what do you... It's got your...
I have so many... I have messed with the AI art stuff to make, like... I've tried to do a mix of frogs looking like private investigators. So I've been trying to do, like, Columbo style. It's been great.
Nice.
And then this is the aristocrat one that I also quite like.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Remember when your avatar was just, like... yeah
I've got them all saved here. It's been like a record. And then like Mr. D incorporated myself, Clossington, Charlemagne, and Turnip in one, because apparently we all sound the same.
Yeah, you guys do sound kind of similar.
No, Cringewalker didn't touch them up. I did.
You don't know, but I feel like the Burke avatar wasn't you. Like I feel like
it started out.
This frog is better.
It started out because and I will never publish this. It will never be released. It will stay as a draft in my on my hard drive for the rest of my life. But I wrote a like 70-page essay. It was long, and I wanted to do this really lengthy sort of like series debut on my channel.
It was like
when
my
I first
bodily
made
profanations article. It was like 70 pages,
and it was like it was sort of in the similar vein of Reflections on the Revolutions in France, but it was meant to cover like the Great Awakening, like from 2012 to here. Like, how did we get to this like crazy mess of just
really?
Yeah. But I just will never. Looking back on it, it's awful, and I'm glad that I didn't.
Why don't you like it?
Because it was far too normie in my taste in retrospect, and I'm not gonna release it.
Could you like redo it? Like
I could probably retouch up on it, but yeah. I mean. One day.
We will separate the chick from the fillet and fillet from the chick. Our cooks are working on it now. If you want to picture the future, imagine a plant-based lunch forever. You know, it's funny. I feel like right-wingers, they'll like have a substitute for the plant, like the seed oil, monstrosity, Beyond Meat, like, you know, man-made horror. They'll like just use cauliflower as like the crossover of like the conservative, like the conservative boomer equivalent of like, I don't want to support Beyond Meat, but I'll have cauliflower instead. That's sort of similar, but not really. Like they'll have like their conservacock like version of it with cauliflower.
Well, I mean, cauliflower's genuinely fine and good for you.
It is good for you.
You're right, but you're right. The
yeah.
Hold on, I have a meme for this on the. I sound like hold on, I had a meme for this. To do Alex Jones summarizing my thoughts. I'm trying to find my. You mentioned Beyond Meat, and this is the meme I need to keep using more often when dealing with certain issues of the fairer sex and, well, people trying to emulate the fairer sex. Where is this stupid ass? I need to have a better organization of my like meme folders and things I download off Capwing that I make. But yeah, Beyond Meat is more like Beyond Women in this instance.
Oh,
trying to find it. I've sent it and I've used it on Twitter before.
Yeah.
So it's like I haven't gotten in trouble for it.
They all melt into a blob.
Yeah, an amorphous, androgynous blob waiting to, become the very thing they wish to destroy.
You will never be a hamburger.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Perfect. And then I can go back and.
Gio hasn't mentioned Gifts and Given. Well, apparently Gifts and Given went an Astro Flight Simulation. She dropped some based red pills. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that on my email. Although Astral's been busy on his Substack as of late.
That's good.
You need to stay
He avoids
busy.
Twitter fights. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, if you get into Twitter fight, it's just
he's addicted to them. That's the problem.
Well, they're entertaining as hell to watch, but I don't want to I don't want to participate in them.
I like being a commentator. I don't like being in the mix. I'm sort of like I'm like JR in that regard.
JR?
Jim Ross.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I didn't.
Like you can't like every time like you try to be in the ring, it just doesn't work. But
Yeah, I don't usually engage in Twitter fights unless someone like asks me for an opinion, and even then it's just like, well, I don't. Maybe I'm diplomatic or I'm too agreeable to a fault, but it's just like I don't see the point in engaging in them, and maybe it's just me not being quote unquote on the grind enough to purposefully seek out drama to gain clout and following. Maybe I'm doing everything wrong, and I should be doing those things. I should start fights with people, like it's just.
Start a fight with, who would be your greatest rival?
I don't know, because I don't think I have a rival. I mean, I have people I've blocked that are just annoying or just like we'll do the haha Christ cuck thing, but it's just like, well, I don't have time for that, so like block you go.
I feel like if you have a truly great rivalry, you'll know it. When it comes.
I haven't had that pleasure, if that's the case. And
I don't know.
I'm totally okay with that, by the way.
Who's my greatest rival, chat? I mean, for those who are well versed in geolore,
that is a good question. Who is Geo's greatest rival? Do you have a reply guy, like a dedicated reply guy?
All my reply guys are, well, I guess. The master's sort of like that now, but I don't know.
I mean, you used to have
that one guy.
But didn't his like account get banned?
Yeah.
Because he was like an Antifa type dude.
But he like pissed them all off.
Oh yeah, because even he got hated by his own like lefty people.
Yeah, he started posting racisms.
Oh, you can't do a heckin' racism, not in this wholesome Antifa server.
Oh man.
Not in my Christian Antifa Discord server.
This is a Christian Minecraft server. I cannot guarantee your safety.
Banned.
Geo's greatest rival is himself.
Yeah, sure. Maybe. Let's go with that. Maybe.
I don't know. I mean,
your own passions. Your own passions, maybe.
I love how like people kept saying love. Maybe. Yeah, but that war is done for. That's not like a active like. I don't know. Does he chide me behind my back? Maybe. I gotta admit though, I gotta stop mentioning it. Like it's not good.
No, probably not.
I already won. Yeah, you can't gloat.
Well, speaking, I finally
Campbot still nips at me once in a while.
Yeah,
but then I nip at him, so I can't fault him for that.
But yeah, speaking of Beyond Meat, there you go. This is what you're dealing with, people. Reject it at all times and at all places.
I thought Sandbatch was shaping up to be a rival in this.
Well, no, Sandbatch is way too good of a guy to be a rival. I like him too much. He's a friend.
Yeah. No, because someone said that in the chat.
Oh.
He's a replacement Geo.
Oh, like, yeah. It's a different villain Geo.
Beyond women.
That's
too much. That's too much.
You will never
like the real thing.
You will never be a chicken
sandwich.
Remember. Hey, I looked up the font. I looked up where the trademark goes, the specific color that they use. Did you tweet it out? Posted this stupid meme. I did like a few months ago. It never caught on.
Tweet it out again.
I'm gonna go tweet it out right now.
I'll get ZHP to retweet it.
Let's see here. Download. Here we go. Beyond Women. All right, tweet it out. Okay, so let's get to the super chats before we're here for forever. All right, starting off with the entropy chats.
Beyond Arby's.
Beyond Arby's. Yeah, beyond Roasties.
Beyond Roasties.
Beyond Roasties. Avoid the Arby's flabs when you can just get a giant gaping wound.
Apparently, a lot of those trans people that have OnlyFans, they are kind of promiscuous, from what I heard.
Oh, man. A group of mentally ill, promiscuous individuals that have severe mental illnesses and other diseases? Say it ain't so.
I know.
Like the history of all mankind.
Beyond...
You have no white meat, no buns, no breader.
That was the best Joe Biden.
It was seriously good.
Yeah, and someone quoted Dylan Mulvaney on Twitter with it. You have no ovaries, no womb.
You have no eggs, no womb, no ovaries. Your friends put up with you.
Your friends put up with you. Everyone laughs behind your back.
The archaeological record, when they discover your bones or whatever's left of your remains, will be a dead giveaway. Like, it's just like, damn, Joe, go off. That was like 1990s Super Predator Joe Biden going off.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Some mental necromancy going on with the.
I think it was. I forget who it was. It may have been Josh Neal, or it was who was it? It may have been Joel that posted oh no. It was oh god, who was it that posted a clip from Joe Biden explaining ethics? And who was it? And then I said I sent the reply, I'm like, it basically made Hegel, because someone said that Joe Biden understands absolute spirit. And I'm like, wow, it makes Hegel sound like a Whiggish lib. And then I'm like, oh wait. Oh man. Look at this fishy frenzy. That certain disease isn't real.
Well, we'll have to do that's for
we should review the book The River.
Code, you know, that's
paywall content.
That's paywall. That's like, well, that's alt content.
Yeah. I've been listening to review, bro. Wholesome Chung. The Joey super like cool food. I don't. Maybe I look a little bit like Joey's World Tour.
Joey super cool food reviews.
Do you mean Joey's World Tour?
No, there's a guy that is doing. He's literally. Oh my gosh, you look nothing like this guy. 448,000. Yeah, Joey's World Tour. You look nothing like this guy.
I'm big. No, I should do that. That'll be so clipped.
Oh my gosh, look at.
I guess because we're both fat Italian guys, we all look similar.
Oh Lord. Who watches this stuff?
Oh, people, like millions of people watched that back in the day. Like a few years ago.
Like what? Oh, yeah.
But like I feel like the thing is, Joey's World Tour was like, he became big because of like the cringe compilation content used to be really big back in like 2013. And like now I think like the cringe comp died because people are like, well, you're literally just making fun of like socially challenged and people with mental illnesses. And the you know what's funny is that a lot of those people became just like cringe, like Reddit liberals. Like I remember I used to watch Mr. Amazing, and I know I shouldn't like call out people, but he became just like a cringe, like Noam Chomsky liberal. He became like a Destiny fan. But he used to do like, before he did like millennial video essays, he used to be a cringe comper. Yeah. I used to watch all those cringe.
See, that would be an ultimate prison sentence. Like, you know, if you want your account back, you have to go watch like an Errant Signal or some other or an H Bomber guy video essay for like 3 hours to come back to Twitter.
Go watch a Jacob Geller video.
Yeah, go watch a Jacob Geller video. You know, go watch H Bomber guy's like 4 hour, you know, Fallout video or whatever. It's just, I'd be like, can I live without Twitter? You know, like,
yeah. Wait, YouTube killed cringe comps? Yeah, I think they did because they discouraged that type of content.
Yeah, they do. They really, they have done everything to promote the live stream and the YouTube short. They want to compete with Twitch and TikTok.
This is why I'm doing shorts, bro. You got to get on the shorts.
The only short I have on my YouTube channel right now is the meme that went viral on Twitter that I did of the Steve Saylor reply guy. That was it.
Whoa. I figured out how to do like tweets or like screen grabs in the background the way that like TikTok people do it. So now I'm gonna go wild with shorts, man. I'm gonna like put them on Instagram. I gotta build my new Instagram, you know.
No, PCS, what makes this worse is that they do exist and there are playlists of them, but half of the videos are deleted.
Yeah.
That's what makes it worse.
Did I tell you about my IRL friend who was a big pooper?
You want to rephrase that so it doesn't get clipped awkwardly?
YouTube poop. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah. He was if you look up I'm a Person, he's like one of the, like, he doesn't want to talk about it anymore, but like he abandoned it. But like he was like pretty innovative. He did like a lot of very technical type of editing. And he created the Gaston meme. The Gaston meme came from I'm a Person. Yeah. Yeah.
Wonderful.
They're in the digital graveyard. Yes.
Yeah, they are in the digital graveyard. Rip. That's true. They are in the Wasteland pooper. There will be a quiz after the video that make sure you watch. Oh man. Oh, I do love your profile picture, Whitworth. Though, just
Whoa! What type of gun is? What rifle is that?
Oh, that looks like pulling out there. I mean, it looks like some sort of maybe smoothbore. I mean, it's got something going there. Yeah, Whitworth, do tell us in the chat what firearm is your profile picture. Because Kino indeed. All right, I'm gonna finally get to super chats. Be sure that you sneeze
Grantham. I love how Hickok.
He's the only him, Paul Harrell, and Ian from Forgotten Weapons. The three dudes. The Whitworth rifle, of course, the hexagonal weapon, of course.
There you go.
But yeah, no, it's those are like the three guys that I like watching. And apparently, like the in-range TV is going through some political drama, which I find hilarious.
Apparently, YouTube's trying to murder gun YouTubers.
Oh yeah, I mean, Ian like has to post every other time that it's like there's like Utreon and other places that they have to go to in order to like not get hammered by demonetization.
Yeah,
but yeah, YouTube does not want gun YouTubers to exist unless you're like those big sponsored, Grantham or Demolition Ranch, sponsored by Black Rifle Coffee Company.
In Range is a cuck, apparently. I've heard.
Well, yeah, In Range isn't it Carl, right? The dude that's like a deep-hearted commie that hates fascists or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really do not like gun tubers. And I wouldn't be surprised if they go to Rumble. I wouldn't be internet
they
friend.
Could. Can you monetize Rumble?
Yeah, I think so.
Man,
Rumble finally is allowing YouTube sync, which is great.
Maybe we should have a Rumble.
I have one. I have my Rumble set up for YouTube sync, so that should be fully up and soon.
But do they like sync longer videos, or do you have to do it like Odyssey?
I haven't tested that out yet. I've done all of my short video stuff. I haven't done the live streams yet.
Wait, are you okay? Wait, listen, Khalifa K. Is this true? That gun guy? What's his name? The anti-commie, anti-fascist. What's his name?
They sync longer. Oh, fantastic! Then great.
Oh, nice. Perfect. You mean to tell me In Range supports Azov Battalion?
And it's part of the John Brown gun club.
Oh. But wait, how can he be a part of John Brown and hate fascists, but yet he supports Azov Battalion? How could that work?
Well, like any leftist, you just exist in contradiction.
Wait, what's this about? I wonder what three-way conversation between Douglas McGregor and Scott Ritter. Well, no, I mean, I would just basically be like, I like Scott. I like both of them. So I don't know.
Well, that's
Carl has been pictured with us on members. No, if I could get Douglas McGregor or Scott Ritter, actually, I probably could get Scott Ritter on Content Minded. I probably could pull that off.
Maybe.
I have a certain friend of mine that has connections.
My deep-hearted desire, or my two white whales of guests, and one of them has already turned me down. Well, more like please message me back later when I'm not like writing. The two guests that I really want to have on would be John J. Mearsheimer and Paul Kingsnorth. And Paul Kingsnorth already said, message me in like 6 months. I gotta go send an email now to John J. Mearsheimer.
I wonder you could probably get Mearsheimer.
That dude talks to anybody, and his YouTube channel, like you can look up John J. Mearsheimer's YouTube channel right now. It's literally just him constantly community posting to go listen to Scott Ritter or to Colonel McGregor, and his video, he posts like a boomer, and I love it to death. Just chef kiss. He is the king of boomers, and we stand John J. Mearsheimer in this place.
That's like Emiko Jones. He just talks to anybody. He's like a boomer. Look at this. I feel bad for Azov. They're trained by Boss Canadian. Yeah, that's true. Canadian General trained Azov.
Would I get Zihan on if I ever could?
No.
I don't think he would. I'm actually okay. I have his book. This is an announcement. So I have his book, courtesy of T.R. Hudson emailing it to me. The End of the World is just beginning, and he and I are going to read it and review it on stream. So
who?
T.R. Hudson.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So T.R. Hudson and I are going to review Zihan's latest book.
If you can get John Mearsheimer on, DC Perspective will give you $200 as super chat.
Oh, if you can do it by the end of the year, I'll donate $200. Yeah, sure. Ask us about his greatest student haircut. Well, you know what? I will make that an effort in 2022 to interview John J. Mearsheimer before people keep trying to tank what's left of his credibility.
Yeah.
All right. Finally, I'm going to shut up and we'll get to the super chats. So we'll start off from...
I want to talk about Azov Battalion more.
Well, you can do that on your own show. We're getting to the super chats, damn it. All right.
Donate super chats in case you haven't. This is last call.
Yeah, this is the last
happy
call,
hour.
Last happy hour to do this needful, folks.
He changed his profile right there.
Do this needful, you know. All right, so from Duke and Ashley for $3 US. This is from Entropy. Reading hagiographies of promiscuous pleasure seekers like Saint Mary tends to show women and men who devote lives to monastic penitence, not entering married life as if nothing happened to them. Well, that's true, but I think the point I was trying to make, Duke and Ashley, was that under no such circumstances am I obligated to view them as like prime marriage material. And I think that the biggest issue is that through Twitter and other platforms, it enables a stage cage that will only in turn make things worse for people, both to proselytize the religion and the faith of the gospel and the good news, but secondly, also to illustrate that, like, yeah, join this organization, join this church, join this religion. We've got all of these like used up people, and that isn't good. I mean, the best example, and I should probably review this and talk about this on stream. I don't do a lot of religious streams on here. I have done one in response to NPR's attack on the Orthodox Church.
Yeah.
But St. John Chrysostom has several homilies on marriage and family life because he was once a devout monastic and was very much against marriage. But even though he pursued the life of a single man and became bishop, an archbishop of Constantinople, that he was adamantly supporting that people get married and have children. And so he has several homilies on Ephesians and on marriage from the gospel, both in the Old Testament and the New, on these issues that I should probably do a stream on and review, because there are answers to that. But my point was just that, like, if you're going to be repentant about it, I don't think that you should be doing this sort of public stage cage kind of deal, because it doesn't make you, your faith, or your husband look particularly good.
Yeah. But my point was just like to look at it from a man's perspective that doesn't have like a lot of experience in his 20s, and then, like, you know, the crop of women he picks from in his own generation, millennial women. It's like, oh man, what are you gonna do? And now apparently, like, the social orthodoxy, just like punishing men that want to date younger women, is like insane. It's like, you know what I mean? Like, it really, like, the late bloomer millennial man, sensitive young man, is being punished. And I don't know. Anyway, yeah, it's too depressing even to think about.
It's certainly an interesting place to be in. It's certainly a difficult spot. Subject to change, sent $5 US. I guess this was in response to Mr. Restoring Order, Patrick Casey, coming into the chat. He just sends 3 smooch emojis. So remember, if you are familiar with Patrick Casey, you have to be his reply guy and be sure to smooch his posts on Telegram.
The oldest of old hats.
The oldest of old hats. Go reply to him and smooch his posts. Do what Schizophrenics Online does. Oh my gosh, that was the other thing too, was that Schizophrenics Online on Telegram posted that picture from the Bowden bot, which I didn't know it was. I literally had to check if it was real, and it was. And they did the sort of like picture of him with like a little art brush and the artiste hat, talking about the need for the aesthetic, and it was Patrick Casey. It's just very.
The aesthetic is when you restore order. There's an order to be restored. Yeah, that was a great tweet.
You know, it's perfect. All right, so on to the next ones. I'm going to scroll through.
The roasty gambits and utterly failed by men dating younger. The having fun now and settle down later doesn't work. Yeah, it never worked.
No, it doesn't.
But post your smooches in the chat, ladies and gentlemen.
Post your smooches in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, and go off. DC Perspective for $5 US says, what is MySpace? God.
Oh my God,
Zoomers. I don't know.
Restoring order, completing a Lego set. Look what he posted right now.
That is chaos. You have to follow the instructions.
Well, DC Perspective's a racist little twerp.
A Dom Room David Duke.
Dime Room David.
Salient point, GC Perspective.
Pound Shop, order. Dr. Pierce.
I know that you're definitely fucking with us if you're asking what MySpace is. Luthemplar for $2 US says, if you're old, you might remember BBS servers.
I think I vaguely remember them.
Wasn't that like the 56K modem stuff?
Oh, I'm not that old. No,
I don't think I am either.
My mom probably
the original social media and bulletin board systems. Yeah, it was a little before my time.
Most like normies didn't have access to that because you had to be like a college student or you had to be like some other, there was like an inherent gatekeeping in the early internet. That's why,
like the late 80s, early 90s. Yeah, like a little before our time, but okay. So next super chat is from Bartholomew the Red, who sends $6.99 Canadian. Theory cell this for me, Geo. My old friendly is the old friendly maritimer woman that owns the greasy spoon by the highway, a manifestation of an ancient archetype.
Yes. 100%.
Well, there you
go and marry her right now.
Spasticus Autisticus says for $5 US, have either of you two meme lords seen the drama surrounding Kirak 27 and Holobeck? So I had to look this up.
I like Kirak. I don't like I thought Kirak was pretty based. What was that about Holobeck? Like what happened?
I think it's something about a film, and here I'm just gonna look it up again.
No, because the Kirak's a very good art review, like non shitlib art review channel.
Okay. French star writer Holobeck seeks porn movie ban. French literary star Michel Houellebecq is seeking a ban on a sexually explicit film awaiting release and featuring the writer, his lawyer said on Tuesday. The global best-selling author also wants the trailer for the movie Kirak 27 by Dutch filmmaker Stefan Rotenbeek to be taken down. The trailer, released in January, shows a shirtless Houellebecq kissing a young woman in bed. Nice. And it contains off-camera commentary saying that Houellebecq had written to him that his honeymoon in Morocco had been called off after his wife had spent a month booking prostitutes.
What? That's incredible.
This is like some fun stuff. The couple had launched legal proceedings, civil and criminal, to ban the film, scheduled for release in March, and the trailer with its defamatory commentary, they said. Well, interesting. Man. So, famous French writer who's whoring around with girls and such. There you go.
That's incredible. But does that make his wife a cuck queen?
And no, it just makes them French.
Yeah. True.
I don't have anything. Ain't no Houellebecq girl.
Ain't no Houellebecq girl. Geo's cauliflower burger fund. Oh my god.
That's send super chats for the Geo dowry fund.
Amazing.
There you go.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Yeah, that is a very French story. That was like that Canadian indie film Last of the Barbarians, where the French Canadian professor's dying, and like his girlfriend shows up, his wife shows up, his prostitute shows up to the hospital room in the same time. Very French, very French.
Let's see here. The next one is from Seasider, who says for $5 US, what would Moldbug's Second Life character look like? I feel like it'd be very similar to himself.
Yeah, probably.
I don't know how much escapism he has. I mean, even he
has no capacity for escapism. Where's Patrick Casey? He's in the chat. Where does he fall on the Chick-fil-A question versus Popeyes?
This is important discourse, Patrick.
Like Beardson loves Chick-fil-A.
Uh-oh.
So I feel like maybe no, never mind.
Dark elf. There you go. Imagine how much you must hate your husband to sleep around with Moroccans.
Oh god.
Oh, well, I can see why Houellebecq
Moroccan women are pretty hot though.
Preferring to be with like a bunch of like Dutch prosties that are okay with knowing he's a famous writer.
I think Houellebecq talked about like dating, like going out with prosties instead of like jerking off. I think I distinctly remember like his endorsement of prosties. He's a French writer. Come on. I mean,
it's almost part of the deal.
Yeah.
Fishy Frenzy for $5 US says
some Dutch women look good. I mean, come on. A lot of Dutch women are beautiful.
I'm sure.
Maybe not the prosties, but
no, but I'm sure there are people who aren't in the red light district. I'm sure are very beautiful women. Fishy Frenzy for $5 US says, you guys are my favorite parasocial relationship. Well,
nice.
We're very thankful for it.
Yeah.
Can we get a Wes Anderson is a 1900s white supremacist episode at some point? Like, do you want us to review Wes Anderson movies? Because I would be opposed to like a Wes Anderson film review episode.
What's his? Let me look. What's his most famous ones?
Yeah,
Wes Anderson. Like, doesn't he do like cape stuff or no?
No, he's the guy who's done like Moonrise Kingdom, The French Dispatch, Fantastic Mr. Fox, The Grand Budapest Hotel.
Oh, okay.
I mean, like
Rushmore. I haven't seen a lot of Wes Anderson films except for Grand Budapest. I think I saw Moonrise Kingdom, but
I've seen Moonrise Kingdom.
Life Aquatic. I haven't seen Life Aquatic.
I have not either. I have seen. Okay, I've seen.
He's got a very weird film taste, Wes Anderson.
He's very interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I've only seen. I've seen Isle of Dogs, Moonrise Kingdom. I really think that that's about it.
I may have seen Bottle Rockets a long time ago.
I'm like going through. Have I seen any of these?
He only has like about 8 or so, or no, more than that.
He's got quite a few.
Yeah.
This is an adventure with that famous like Bill Murray look. But no, I haven't seen much of Wes Anderson. But
yeah,
Life Aquatic is good. Okay. Then the Grand Budapest Hotel is absolute keynote. Oh, so he says yes, he wants us to review Wes Anderson movies.
Maybe.
Sure. I mean,
yeah.
Bill Murray's annoying unless he's in trap.
That's terrible.
Keep calm and chive on, bro. Oh, that's another social media platform that definitely doesn't, have a mainstream popularity. Although they have like Chive TV or whatever.
Oh yeah, I've heard of this. Yeah. Remember Blogging Heads?
It's making fun of Jacques Cousteau, the French guy. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Jacques Cousteau, yeah.
Yeah.
Remember Blogging Heads? You'd have like Matty Iglesias talking with what's that guy? The Douthat?
Yeah, Ross.
No,
Douthat.
not. Yeah, Ross Douthat. Yeah. I was gonna say. Oh God, Root Wiener. I don't think he was on Blogging Heads.
I hope not, but I mean, he's kind of got that like solid deal that he's been at the American Conservative for forever, like Lens Fair in a J.J. Abrams movie. Remember
Farscape 5G1 review?
Oh, we could. I love both of those shows.
Yeah,
I could probably go on like a 2-hour long rant on Stargate SG1 if I wanted to.
I'm currently going through The Shield, and then I'll go through Farscape again.
Farscape is absolute kino because it's like the Jim Henson's company's last hurrah before the company was finally bought out by Disney.
Oh my God!
It was some kino sci-fi. It was just very well done. It was quite enjoyable and had a lovely, wonderful woman who was also in the show. Back when Claudia Black was attractive.
Nice.
She's gotten older now.
Gio, do you have a car? Drive down to Wind City, I'll smoke up with you. Yeah, I do have a car. Well, it's my old man's, but I get to use it. So.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll do a Wes Anderson episode one day. That's perfectly fine. I have no problem with that.
I tried watching a bit of SG1, but like a long time ago, but I couldn't.
SG1 kicks off after season one's kind of rough, but
yeah,
because it goes on for like what? It's like 8 seasons, 10 seasons. But I like only like the last 3 you can kind of ignore because finally, our wonderful main character just decides to like take a more leadership role and stops doing it, and it's just like, ugh. No, Wes. I love how divided we are on this. Also, the Kurt Russell movie is just back when James Spader looked like a human being and not this like deplorable chubby sex pervert. Although if you've seen Secretary, you already knew he was
I watched most of the Blacklist. Is the Blacklist still going on?
No, I think it's over.
Oh, really? I missed the last season then.
Oh, I mean,
folks used to watch the Blacklist.
SG1 is fun, but it has the same problem that Star Trek Enterprise does, where it has the same issue of James Spader. Thank you. But it has the same problem that Star Trek Enterprise does, where it has that like early 2000s Americana, Pax Americana, we can do anything bit. Like really, Star Trek Enterprise kills itself because it spends the whole 3rd season doing this like season-long story arc where it's trying to be like a response to like 9/11, where essentially like everything from Venezuela to Florida gets attacked by like an alien, and I have to go out and do it. I mean, it's really bad. It's one of my favorite like Star Trek like series still, because it's good, but it has that same problem SG-1 has, of that like emancipatory Americana type George W. Bushisms.
Yeah.
So
that's kind of like that comic book guy that like did Sin City. What's his name?
Oh, I don't know.
Didn't he do like, what was it, Superman or whatever? But it was like American, like he's fighting the Taliban.
Oh, Frank Miller.
Yeah, he like went insane. Yeah, and he became a neocon. And I like Spader though. He's a good actor. Like it's like his stuff on Blacklist is pretty kino, but then Blacklist just evolves into like, I don't know, worshiping what's her name.
All right. Well, last of the super chats now. So the last one's from Spasticus Autisticus for $20. So I will do my best reading voice from this. My name is Ozymandias, King of Kings. Look on my works, ye mighty, and despair. Nothing beside remains. Round the decay of that colossal wreck, boundless and bare, the lone and level sands stretch far away. And there we go. That's the end of our super chats.
Nice.
Thank you, Spasticus Autisticus. It's always fun to do a little bit of reading. But yeah, the early 2000s were weird. People don't talk about that enough. Oh, there we go. Yeah. Seasider for $2. The Lex. Come on. Or that's made in Canada. Well, there you go.
The Lex?
I'm assuming the Lexus.
Oh, yeah. Nice.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, what do we got going on for you this coming week, Gio? What are you up to?
I probably will either release the Dino World or Luke Avery Content Minded, and I have a bunch of interviews like tomorrow I have to do, and then exciting stream announcement. Not stream announcement. I'm interviewing a certain someone next Friday. That is a certain writer of ours, friend of ours. So I'm hoping I'm going to beat. It's Zero HP Lovecraft. I'm hoping I'm going to beat the Med Gold episode with Zero HP Lovecraft. So, yeah, it's gonna be good. Zero HP Lovecraft will eventually be on Content Minded, and also I'm gonna try to like record the last episode of Necropolitics for Gen Reviews, and then I have to move on to Art After Metaphysics, and yeah, eventually the Red Book. So. Yeah, a lot of good content. Also, next week, Prude, you're away. So maybe we'll record, I don't know, Saturday we'll record a pre-recorded thing.
Yeah, well, so, yeah, that was the announcement I was going to give. So next week, I'm going to be pretty much out all week, Monday through Saturday. So there will be no live streams or anything like that I'll be on. So we'll probably have to do the... we'll have to record the digital Relico, pre-record and do things like that. And then... yeah, so I'll be out at a workshop doing iconography work. So,
nice.
Well, DC perspective, in the context of when that film was watched, I wasn't going to denounce it either because the woman I was with, it was great afterwards. But anyways, that was
a Kino film. Like that really was. That was
back when Maggie Gyllenhaal had it.
Yeah. No, but then like that Stephanie Meyer chick just ripped everything off of that film.
Yes, I would wholeheartedly agree.
They did, Gray. What's it called? Dorian Gray. Not Dorian Gray. Oh, what's it called? The mommy,
Yeah, I don't know the name off the top of my head, but I know.
I can't believe I forgot the name. What's Christian Grey? What's his name? Oh God, I can't believe I forgot the book. This atrocious books. What's her name? Not Stephanie Meyer. Is that her name, Stephanie Meyer?
Are you referring to the woman that wrote 50 Shades of Grey?
50 Shades of Grey. Yeah. No, yeah. So the secretary is like the rip. Like it's basically they rip off the secretary.
Yeah, which is a rip off of another story.
From the 50s. Yeah.
Yeah, this book no one's ever heard of, despite it being the most sold book that year and sold more copies than the Bible did. Women are nuts. Man. So no. Ajax, are you that F I added on Twitter 2 weeks ago? Sylvie, no, it probably wasn't me. I don't post my work, but that would probably be Shane Swenson that you probably added.
Oh, Shane, yeah. Oh,
He's
yeah,
great.
Shane's gonna be in Content Minded soon.
Oh, good.
Nice.
Yeah, Shane's helped me out with a lot of stuff, but no, I will be at a workshop. I will be out all week, and I'll have something cool to show you all later next weekend. But until then, we'll have stuff pre-recorded. I have been very busy on Substack. I've got one on Paul Virilio and Oswald Spengler, sort of talking about accelerationism and our current technology. And then afterwards, I will be live this Saturday covering some fun foreign affairs stuff that we've seen on the recent literature. That'll be fun. I'll get more off of that. And yeah, I mean, that's literally what's done. All of our stuff is done on boards and real wood and things like that.
Yeah, you guys use boards.
Yeah, it'll be fun. So we'll keep you updated, and I will be live this Saturday for Prudent Observations. It's Saturday at 2 p.m., and I will probably have a pre-recorded video out next week as well, but I will be rather content sparse.
Oh yeah.
So Gio will be covering up, and we'll have a pre-recorded episode. We'll premiere it like we did last time.
The only problem is I don't get super chats off unless someone is kind enough to when I premiere it.
If you premiere it, they can send super chats, and most importantly, you can also send a super thanks because he's monetized that way. To Gio.
So there you go. Send me super thanks.
Yeah. So stay off the cauliflower, and with that, we'll see you all next week. Take care.
God bless. Goodbye. Too sweet.
Godspeed.